this. What? Are you looking down on me, a guest from Tianjin? At this moment, the boss from Tianjin was completely furious. No matter what the people around him were doing, they were attracted by his roar and had no idea what was going on. When the beautiful lobby manager saw the scene, she shook her head helplessly. There was nothing she could do. I was indeed a little too hasty just now and did not explain clearly. I told him that there was no villa. Then Mr. Yi came over and said that there was one. It's no wonder that the other party is unhappy, but when it comes to this, the lobby manager is also embarrassed. You should know that Mr. Yi was specifically instructed by their chairman that the best villa is reserved for Mr. Yi. But the small villa that the boss wanted was really not available. Although the lobby manager felt helpless, there was nothing he could do at this moment. He could only look at Yi Xian apologetically, and then quickly walked to the angry boss to explain. I'm sorry, sir. This is our mistake, but Mr. Yi did make arrangements in advance, and the villa you requested is really sold out. But the boss was very angry at the moment, and he couldn't listen to any of this. He still looked furious. Is this what you call an explanation? I finally understand that you have double standards when it comes to treating your guests. You can't even treat all the guests equally. I think what you are doing is simply outrageous. Hey! Sir, calm down. Things are not what you think. The lobby manager was somewhat at a loss at this time, and just at this moment, the general manager heard the noise and came over. Seeing the general manager coming, the beautiful lobby manager hurried over as if she had seen a savior. What's going on? The general manager saw the lobby manager and asked about the whole story. Then, looking at Yi Xian standing beside him, he finally understood. Ahem. The general manager coughed softly a few times and walked to the side of the boss. Hello, sir. I am the general manager here. Please don't get excited about this matter. Let me explain it to you first. But the general manager had just finished speaking and had not yet waited to continue explaining when he was interrupted by the boss's roar. Explain. What is there to explain? I think you guys just look down on us outsiders. Why is it that I don't have it when I come, but it exists when he comes? Who is he? Is he your old man? As he spoke, the boss glared fiercely at Yi Xian, who was watching indifferently at the side. Dad, what's wrong with this uncle? Why is he so angry? Yi Shi, who was standing aside, was obviously frightened by the boss's angry look. She pulled Yi Xian's big hand and asked in confusion. The other girls didn't understand it either, and they all looked at Yi Xian in confusion. Yeah, Dad, I don't know why this uncle is angry, and he just glanced at Dad. Why is this happening? Is it because the weather is too hot? Yi Xian narrowed his eyes and muttered. When Yi Xian heard Yi Xia's words, he was immediately happy. He touched Yi Xia's head and gave him a thumbs up. Xia Xia, you are so smart. Ha, you're right, it's because the weather is too hot. Yi Xian's words made the girls understand something, but they were still somewhat confused. Sir, can you calm down and listen to me first? This matter is really not what you think. You really misunderstood. No matter how the general manager tried to comfort and explain, the boss still had an unyielding look on his face. I'm telling you, there was no misunderstanding in today's incident. You are simply discriminating. I'm going to leave it all to you. If you don't give me a satisfactory answer and solution, we're not done. Do you really think I'm easy to bully because I'm from another place? I'm telling you, if you can't settle this, you'll have a lot to worry about. Who in Jinling doesn't know a few people? The CEO was talking non-stop at this time, and the general manager was still explaining, but the CEO was getting more and more excessive. Humph. You think I'm not worthy of living in your place, right? As he spoke, the boss glanced at Yi Xian again and said unhappily. Look, even a young man like him is qualified, so why am I not qualified? You are just a small general manager, do you know who I am? The general manager didn't have much patience to begin with, and when he heard the boss talking about Mr. Yi, his face suddenly changed and his voice became deeper. Sir, please be careful with your words. There are some things you can't say carelessly. When the boss heard the general manager's suggestive words, coupled with the sullen face, his face suddenly turned cold, he sneered and continued. Ha ha. You think you can scare me, right? You don't have to scare me. When the general manager heard this, he saw that Yi Xian seemed to frown slightly, and immediately he completely lost his good face towards the boss. Sir, please be careful with your tone. Your words are insulting. Chapter 54. Who are you? Insult? The boss sneered again, pointed at the general manager's forehead and continued. Tell me, I am insulting you. Think about it, what happened just now? Was it you who were insulting me? Give me. Just when the boss was about to make a fuss, a noisy sound came from the other side. Everyone was attracted by the sound. Econ looked over and saw a group of dignitaries surrounding Lin Yuhan and Lin Shang and walking towards them. Master Lin. Mr. Lin. We are here. Don't worry, Mr. Lin. Just sit down. We can push you. Master Lin, please wait a moment, we will go find the manager right away. The dignitaries walked in with Lin Yuhan and Lin Shang. Just as they were about to say something, they saw the boss from Tianjing staggering towards Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan. Ever since he saw Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan just now, the boss's expression changed drastically. You know, he is from Tianjing, so he naturally knows Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan. So the boss no longer cared about whether or not to continue discussing with the manager, and hurried over to shake hands with the two of them. At the same time, Lin Shang also saw Yi Xian, and looked at this handsome and mature face carefully. His legs sitting in the wheelchair began to tremble uncontrollably. The old man raised his hand weakly and pointed at Yi Xian. He wanted to say something, but he felt as if something was blocking his throat and he couldn't utter a word. When Lin Yuhan saw the old man like this, he immediately understood and pushed the old man in the wheelchair towards Yi Xian. In this way, Lin Yuhan and Lin Shang just bypassed the boss who was coming towards them with a fawning face. At this moment, Lin Yuhan and Lin Shang seemed to not see anyone else. There was only Yi Xian standing in front of them with a calm face. The boss was stunned for a moment, and when he turned around, he saw an incredible scene. Lin Yuhan and Lin Shang were both walking towards Yi Xian, and old man Lin's hands and feet seemed to be still trembling slightly. Such a silent picture made the boss feel as if his heart was suddenly hit hard. What on earth is going on? They actually walked towards that young guy. The boss was completely confused, and for some reason, he felt a little scared in his heart, as if something was about to happen, and it was a big thing. He felt right about this point. Under the gaze of everyone, he saw Lin Yuhan pushing Lin Shang and stopping in front of Yi Xian. Lin Shang slowly stood up, supported by Lin Yuhan, came in front of Yi Xian, bowed, and spoke respectfully and excitedly. Mr. Yi, we finally found you. Boom! As soon as Mr. Lin Shang said this, everyone present was stunned. The boss shuddered violently all over and stared in disbelief. He couldn't believe that what he saw was real. How is this possible? The boss couldn't help but gasp, feeling his scalp tingling and goosebumps all over his body. Others may not be very clear about it, but he is from Tianjing. He knows everything about the Lin family in Tianjing, especially the head of the Lin family, Lin Yuhan, and the old man of the Lin family, Lin Shang. Even in Tianjing, no matter who you are, no matter how high your status is, if you meet these two people, you have to give them some face. Not to mention Lin Yuhan, he is an iron-fisted and decisive person. He is the proudest son of Mr. Lin Shang and the current head of the Lin family. Lin Shang was even more surprising. This highly respected old man was a well-known ruthless figure in the entire Tianjing. When Mr. Lin Shang was young, his status and position were so high that people could only look up to him. But these two people actually bowed to the young man from Jiling in front of them and spoke with such respect. Thinking of this, the boss recalled what he had done before and the look he had given Yi Xian, and his face turned pale. His family members beside him were also looking at him in confusion. Although they didn't quite understand Yi Xian's identity, just by looking at the attitudes of the two big guys, Lin Yuhan and Lin Shang, towards Yi Xian, they knew that they had caused a big disaster this time. At this moment, the boss seemed as if his soul had been drained out of his body. His body was trembling slightly, and he felt that all the air in the space he was in had solidified. Cold sweat instantly spread all over his body. At this moment, he was really scared. And the dignitaries from Jiling who came with Lin Yuhan and Lin Shang were also shocked when they saw the scene before them. They also thought that no matter how high and mighty Mr. Yi Xian's status was, he could never compare to the head of the Lin family and Mr. Lin from Tianjing. But the current reality gave them a hard slap in the face. Even people like Lin Yuhan and Lin Shang had such an attitude towards Yi Xian. This was difficult for them to explain for a moment, and they suddenly felt a sense of confusion in their hearts. In their eyes, Yi Xian's identity seemed to become increasingly vague and increasingly huge, so huge that it was hard for them to imagine. Hiss. These dignitaries took a deep breath. When they thought of this, their whole bodies seemed to be numb and their minds went blank. What kind of god is Mr. Yi? Even the Lin family of Tianjing is so humble. The chief executive's mouth twitched as he muttered, his eyes flashing with regret like a stormy sea. Who are you? Yi Shan looked at the person in front of him and asked with some confusion. It didn't matter that he asked this question, but when everyone heard Yi Shan's puzzled tone, they were inevitably a little surprised. This was the dignified head of the Tianjing Lin family and the old man of the Lin family. After all, he came all the way from Tianjing, and Mr. Yi doesn't even know him. For a moment, the air seemed to freeze, and everyone stared at each other, no one knowing what was going on. Ah! You don't know him. How is it possible? After all, they are the patriarch and the old man of the Lin family. What is going on? After a brief silence, people began to talk in low voices, but something that shocked everyone even more had just begun. After confirming that it was Yi Xian in front of them, Lin family head Lin Yuhan and Lin family patriarch Lin Shang bent lower and introduced him respectfully. Mr. Yi, I'm Lin Yuhan from the Tianjing Lin family, and this is my father, Lin Shang. I'm sorry to bother you so much. Lin Shang nodded gently, staring at Yi Xian with eyes full of gratitude and many indescribable emotions. If it weren't for Yi Xian in front of him, he would have turned into a handful of earth long ago. Chapter 55 I like quietness. From then on, he didn't know how many places he had searched and how many people he had asked, but his savior seemed to have evaporated from the face of the earth and he could not be found anywhere. Now that he is at the point of dying again, the biggest regret in his heart is that he has not found his benefactor and thanked him in person for giving him a second life. At this moment, Yi Xian was standing in front of him. How could he not feel excited? Mr. Yi, you are my savior. When I was on the verge of death, you gave me a shot that saved my life, allowing me to live a few more years. If it weren't for you, I, a rotten old man, would have died long ago. When Yi Xian heard this, some memories emerged in his mind. He thought about it for a while, then nodded slightly. He had remembered it. Well, I remember now. This happened many years ago. Thinking of these past memories, Yi Xian felt emotional. So many years have passed so quickly and I don't know how much I have experienced. Thinking about myself at that time and the many people and things that came with it, it's all time. Thinking about it, Yi Xian looked at Lin Shang and remembered his identity. When Lin Shang was young, he truly and down-to-earthly made a lot of contributions to China's business community. Looking at Lin Shang's old and slightly tired, but more excited face, Yi Xian continued to ask. I remember you were from Tianjing. Are you from Tianjing? Yes, Mr. Yi. Mr. Yi has a really good memory. Lin Shang slapped his thigh excitedly. It seemed that his benefactor had not completely forgotten him. Mr. Yi, I have no regrets even if I die, as I am able to come here in person to thank you for saving my life. As he spoke, Lin Shang bent his legs slightly, and Yi Xian hurriedly supported him. These are all things that happened a long time ago. You don't have to be like this. I was just doing it for fun at the time. Yi Xian's expression was very calm, but the people around him were completely dumbfounded. If they saw it correctly just now, old man Lin Shang almost knelt down to Yi Xian. The two people's attitude towards Yi Xian was something they had never seen before. In Tianjing, these two are considered big shots. No matter who sees them, they have to give them some face. When have you ever seen these two treat others like this? When the bosses saw the attitude of these two people, they also took a deep breath, their legs and feet were shaking, and their brains were blank. Several people's faces turned pale, and some were even trembling all over and were about to collapse to the ground. Yi Xian glanced at Lin Shang, whose face looked a little lifeless, and shook his head slightly. Yi Jing next to him was very smart. Although she was young, she still noticed a lot of clues. She pulled Yi Xian's sleeve, opened her big watery eyes, and asked softly, Dad, is this Grandpa sick? Yi Xian nodded, looked at Lin Shang, frowned, and said nothing. Lin Shang's disease has already reached the point where the disease has spread to his bones. It is not impossible to cure it completely, but it is too troublesome. At this time, Yi Xian no longer wanted to do too many unnecessary things like this. After all, the life-extending injection was equivalent to giving him a chance to be reborn. Dad, can you heal the disease? Can you save this Grandpa? Seeing that Yi Xian didn't say anything, Yi Jing asked again. Yi Xian glanced at the little girl, then at Lin Shang, hesitated for a moment, and then nodded. How about this, I'll write a recipe and you can take it back and eat it. Hearing Yi Xian's words, Lin Yuhan and Lin Shang's eyes lit up, and Yi Xian waved his hand. Wait till I finish. Your health is not very good right now. Even with this prescription, it can only prolong your life. It is impossible to cure it. To what extent it can prolong your life depends on you. Lin Shang's body trembled suddenly, and he looked at Yi Jing and Yi Xian with gratitude, and quickly bent down to thank them. Mr. Yi. Thank you so much. I really don't know how to thank you. Lin Yuhan was standing aside, also with red eyes. He excitedly held Yi Xian's hand and spoke with a slight sob. Mr. Yi. Thank you so much. You are a great benefactor to our Lin family. After expressing his gratitude, Lin Yuhan searched his pockets, but couldn't find any paper or pen. The dignitaries behind him immediately understood, and someone shouted something. Quick! Get some paper and pen ready. Soon, everyone found a piece of white paper and an exquisite fountain pen. After Lin Yuhan took it, he handed it to Yi Xian respectfully. Yi Xian looked at the pen and couldn't help but smile. This was the first time he wrote a prescription with a pen. Afterwards, Yi Xian unscrewed the pen and began to write the prescription. The dignitaries next to him couldn't help but feel curious, and they all came over to see what Yi Xian was writing. Suddenly, under everyone's attention, Yi Xian picked up the pen and started writing on the white paper. Yi Xian's handwriting is vigorous, powerful, yet solemn and majestic. Even when he was writing the prescription, his handwriting was not as sloppy as people usually imagine a doctor to be. Instead, it was like a calligraphy master carefully carving his own work. Oh my God! Mr. Ye's handwriting is simply amazing. Yes, this is so well written. This handwriting is absolutely amazing. Oh, I am so ashamed of myself. Just think about the words we wrote. I am so ashamed. Every word written by Yi Xian was written with beautiful and brilliant strokes. Although they were words, they seemed to be endowed with souls, as if they were about to jump out of the paper. Yi Xian's hand holding the pen was indescribably steady, as if his fingers and the pen had merged into one. Every word came out naturally without any drag. Looking at these, everyone couldn't help but widen their eyes. The words written by Yi Xian were really pleasing to the eye, full of artistic sense, and also had Yi Xian's unique personal style. Someone once said that the difference between a calligrapher and a calligraphy enthusiast is whether or not one has his or her own style. Every person has his or her own style, and so do every person's words. Only when one truly has his or her own style can the words he or she writes have soul. However, Yi Xian's calligraphy has transcended this level, returning to its original simplicity and ingenuity, yet it is still astonishing to those who see it and shocking to those who hear it. Yi Xian ignored the exclamations around him and continued writing. After a while, Yi Xian put down his pen, confirmed it, closed the pen cap, picked up the prescription and handed it to Lin Shang. Here, take the prescription and go back. I like quiet time. Lin Shang took the prescription, looked at Yi Xian with gratitude, and understood what Yi Xian meant. Does chapter 56 really work? Okay, Mr. Yi, I won't bother you anymore. I don't know how to thank you. If there is anything I can help you with in the future, I will definitely do my best. After expressing his gratitude, Lin Shang prepared to leave. When the bosses who had challenged him before saw this, they were even more frightened. Their legs suddenly felt weak and they felt it was difficult to even breathe if they stayed there. When Lin Shang and others walked up to them, these guys couldn't hold back any longer and immediately collapsed to the ground, rolling their eyes slightly, looking as if they had lost all desire to live. Lin Shang found this scene unusual, and combined with the quarrel he saw when he came in earlier, he had some guesses in his mind, but he was not too sure. So Lin Shang looked at the general manager beside him and asked curiously, "What's going on? Why are they all like this?" The general manager wiped his sweat with a smile, looked at the embarrassed CEOs lying on the ground, and told them what had just happened. Mr. Lin Shang, this is what happened just now. This is all I know. Lin Shang nodded slightly, with a hint of anger in his eyes, staring at the guys on the ground, and said coldly, "Expel these guys from Tianjing. I don't want to see them again." Lin Yuhan stood next to Lin Shang, also with displeasure in his eyes, and nodded slightly. Okay, I'll do it later. After saying that, Lin Yuhan didn't even bother to look at these guys. He supported Lin Shang and continued to walk outside. However, those CEOs were completely frightened by Lin Shang's words just now. They just collapsed on the ground, with the corners of their mouths twitching constantly. Even if they regretted it in their hearts, it was too late now. Alas, it's all my own fault. The general manager glanced at the CEOs, sighed softly, and walked to Yi Xian's side. At this time, the general manager seemed more respectful to Yi Xian and said with a smile, Mr. Yi, let me take you inside. Yi Xian nodded, took a few girls, and walked forward with the general manager. Soon, after walking not far, they arrived in front of a luxurious villa. This villa is quite luxurious. There is a garden at the door and a small fountain in the middle of the garden. The water splashed, and this small fountain alone brought a refreshing feeling to everyone. In the center is an open space, which is an open-air courtyard surrounded by flower baskets and furnished with exquisite tables and chairs where people can rest and drink tea. The villa is a stand-alone villa with its own courtyard. The four-story villa looks very tall, and its simple decoration reveals luxury everywhere. The white walls and the ink-colored roof appear very deep and quiet among the flowers, as if this villa is a garden full of miracles and stories from a fairy tale. To reach the gate of the villa, you have to cross a small river with a small wooden bridge across it. The sound of the rushing water and the crisp birdsong around form a beautiful melody. It does not make people feel noisy, but instead gives people a sense of tranquility and concentration. I have to say that this is the most luxurious villa here. Its size and layout are incomparable to the previous villas. The width of the garden at the entrance alone has exceeded many people's imagination. The flowers and plants everywhere, the surrounding vegetation, and the clear river running across it are simply a rare and beautiful sight. The mountain breeze blew over from afar, and along with the scent of the river, everyone felt a comfortable coolness. Mr. Yi, kids, follow me, let's go and take a look. The general manager smiled slightly, led Yi Xian and others across the wooden bridge, and arrived inside the villa. Once inside, the lawn turned into a marble path leading to the entrance of the villa. There are 2 rows of maple trees around, making rustling sounds as the wind blows. Yi Xian and his companions began to look around the villa in front of them. The gate was wide and majestic, full of a heavy texture. Every brick wall fits so perfectly, as if they were formed naturally, forming this spacious and tall mansion. The villa is hidden deep in the garden, giving people a feeling of deep tranquility. The surroundings are very quiet, without the hustle and bustle of the city and the heat of summer. Wow! It feels so good. Hey, I like it here. It's really beautiful. We can take pictures later. The little girls were very satisfied with this place. They looked around and finally looked at Yi Xian pitifully. Dad, can we go for a walk in the yard? Yi Xian looked at the expectant eyes of the girls and nodded lovingly. Go ahead, just be safe. Yeah. After getting Yi Xian's permission, the maids ran around in this beautiful courtyard like birds out of a cage. Ha ha ha. The silver bell-like laughter of several maids echoed in his ears. Yi Xian looked at the lively and cute figures of the maids like elves, and a warm smile appeared on the corners of his mouth. Yi Jing, the elder sister, was currently pulling her younger sisters together. They took out their cell phones and were taking pictures of the fish and shrimp in the stream, and taking selfies among the flowers. They were having a lot of fun. Mr. Yi, are you satisfied with this place? The general manager at the side bowed slightly to Yi Xian and asked respectfully. Just look at the reactions of these girls and you'll know, right? Yi Xian always had a smile on his face, and he was quite satisfied with this place. It was quite quiet and comfortable, and most importantly, these girls liked it very much. Ah! That's good. The general manager also smiled, instantly understood what Yi Xian meant, and breathed a sigh of relief. At the same time, Lin Sheng quickly asked someone to take the prescription that Yi Xian had just given him to get the medicine. After all, in his current condition, he can't afford to waste even a moment. Even if there is medicine to treat him, he must hurry. Lin Yuhan helped Lin Sheng back to the hotel. After this trip, the old man had to have a good rest. As soon as I arrived at the door, a man came to greet me. As Lin Yuhan's younger brother and Lin Sheng's second son, he had already arranged everything here. Without further ado, after the group returned to the room, Lin Yuhan quickly asked Lin Sheng to lie down in bed and rest. Then, Lin Yuhan explained to Lin Kai what had just happened. What? When Lin Kai heard this, he opened his mouth wide, with deep shock in his eyes. Brother, you are kidding, does this prescription really work? Knowing that his father might be saved, Lin Kai was delighted, but soon he became a little confused. You know, the old man has suffered from this disease and has been sought out by famous doctors and experts all over China, but they are all helpless. Chapter 57: A slap to shut you up. I don't know, but there is hope now, we have to give it a try. Lin Yuhan was also unsure in his heart. After all, Yi Xian had written this prescription without any consideration, but the old man's illness had actually been cured by Yi Xian. That's true. Lin Kai sighed. This is better than having no hope at all. Ding dong. As he was speaking, a crisp doorbell rang at the door, and Lin Yuhan got up and opened the door. Master Lin, the medicine is here. Seeing that the medicine had arrived, Lin Yuhan's eyes suddenly lit up. After taking the medicine, he started to decoct it without stopping. After a while, Lin Yuhan came to Lin Shang's bedside carrying a bowl of steaming medicine. Dad, the medicine is ready, drink it while it's hot. Lin Shang sat up with difficulty and nodded. Lin Yuhan was blowing on the medicine while feeding Lin Shang mouthful by mouthful with a spoon. Before long, the whole bowl of medicine was drunk. Lin Yuhan held the empty bowl and looked at Lin Shang anxiously. Dad, how do you feel? Puff. But before Lin Yuhan could finish his words, Lin Shang spat out a mouthful of blood. Suddenly, a flower of blood splashed on the quilt. Lin Yuhan's heart tightened and cold sweat broke out instantly. Lin Kai stood aside, also at a loss, completely panicked. What's going on? Afterwards, Lin Kai looked at the medicine and looked at Lin Yuhan with a serious face. Brother, could it be this medicine? Lin Yuhan turned around and looked at Lin Kai, and seeing the unspoken meaning in these words, he immediately frowned and slapped him. Bang! This heavy slap made Lin Kai spin around completely, and he was completely dumbfounded. Mr. Yi, you are my father's savior and the benefactor of my Lin family. What nonsense are you talking about? Lin Yuhan glared at Lin Kai fiercely, then ignored him and went to serve Lin Shang. Although he spat out a mouthful of blood, Lin Shang's complexion improved slightly. After a while, Lin Shang vomited out a lot of filth and then he no longer felt like vomiting. There was a foul stench in the room at this time. Lin Yuhan didn't say much, and helped Lin Shang to the bathroom nearby to take a shower and change clothes. After all this was done, Lin Shang walked out, and immediately felt a lot lighter and his face became much rosier. He himself could feel that after taking the medicine, he did feel better, at least he felt much more comfortable. Lin Yuhan took care of his father the whole time, and he saw the changes in Lin Shang clearly, and couldn't help but sigh. Mr. Yi, it's amazing. Lin Shang let out a breath, sat on the sofa beside him, and looked much more energetic. Mr. Ye's medicine can't be wrong. Feeling the changes in his body, Lin Shang's eyes once again showed a hint of gratitude. Looking at Lin Kai standing aside, a hint of dissatisfaction appeared in Lin Shang's eyes. It was a feeling of being disappointed in someone. From today on, you will be dismissed from all your duties in the Lin family. Go back and reflect on your mistakes. A trace of helplessness flashed across Lin Kai's eyes, but he didn't dare to say anything and nodded heavily. Lin Shang sighed, put his hands behind his back, walked to the window, and murmured. Mr. Yi is our Lin family's great benefactor. He has saved my life twice. Our Lin family owes him too much. If we really want to repay this favor, I don't know how we can repay it. Lin Yuhan also nodded and asked. Dad, what should we do now? Lin Shang shook his head slightly, turned around, and looked at Lin Yuhan, and said seriously. It's better for us not to disturb you now. Let's go back to Tianjing first. Lin Yuhan nodded and instantly understood what Lin Shang meant. Afterwards, they packed up their things, walked out of the room and headed downstairs. Downstairs, a group of bosses were still waiting. When they saw Lin Shang and others coming over, they all walked over here. Master Lin and the old man are coming down. For a moment, everyone gathered around, but when they saw Lin Shang coming towards them, they were stunned again. The old man, who just now looked haggard and as if he would pass away at any time, now cannot be said to be completely recovered, but he looks much more energetic. Even his walking steps are steadier than before, and his complexion is much better. Compared with before, he is like a completely different person. It's amazing. When everyone saw this scene, they couldn't help but gasp. How long has it been? The effect is so fast. Mr. Yi is truly an amazing person. The prescription he casually gave me actually has such a powerful effect. I didn't expect that Mr. Yi has such amazing medical skills. TSK, the old man of the Lin family has been looking for a cure for this disease all over China, but I didn't expect that the prescription written by Mr. Yi in just a few minutes is more effective than anything else. Looking at the state of the old man in front of them, Yi Xian's status in their hearts unconsciously became much higher. At this time, inside the villa, several girls had been making a lot of noise inside and outside the villa, and they also discovered that there was a large and clean swimming pool in the backyard. Wow! The little guys looked at the swimming pool in front of them, a slight smile on their lips, and they already had a plan in mind. Yi Xian was sitting at the table drinking tea at this time, and several little girls came over jumping and skipping. Dad, can we go swimming? Swim. Yi Xian hugged the girls in his arms and asked curiously. Why do you suddenly want to go swimming? Hey, Dad, this is a summer resort after all. And it's really hot now. Yi Jing said this with a smile, but she couldn't wait any longer. Okay. Do you have your swimsuits with you? Seeing that the girls really wanted to go swimming, Yi Xian stretched and stood up. I brought it. Let's go change it now. Dad, let's meet at the swimming pool later. We'll be there soon. Suddenly, several little girls dispersed and returned to their rooms to change into their swimsuits. These girls are so full of energy. Yi Xian smiled dotingly, returned to his room and changed his clothes. After a while, the girls couldn't wait any longer and quickly changed into cute and beautiful swimsuits and were waiting by the swimming pool. Is everything alright? Yi Xian had also changed his clothes at this time, and was holding a few Q-version swimming rings in his hands. Alright. The girls nodded, looking at the sparkling water, and were eager to try. Chapter 58 Xinyao, your boyfriend is too awesome. Yi Xian walked over, squatted down, looked at the girls seriously, and grinned. By the way, can you all swim? Won't. Several girls said in unison, shaking their little heads at the same time. For a moment, Yi Xian was speechless because of these girls. After a moment of silence, he smiled. You can't swim, why are you so excited? We don't know how, so of course we need Dad to teach us. Yi Xia giggled and gently held Yi Xian's hand. Dad will definitely teach us, right? The other girls also nodded, showing great trust in Yi Xian. Well, there's really nothing I can do about you girls. Yi Xian smiled dotingly and gently scratched the little noses of several girls. Then he put small swimming rings around each of the girls. This swimming ring is so cute. Several girls were stroking the cartoon characters on the swimming rings, with a hint of love in their eyes. Okay, girls, before you officially learn how to swim, make sure you wear a swimming ring when you go into the water. Good. The girls nodded obediently and were led by Yi Xian to the shallow water area. But even in the shallow water, the water here is enough to cover their heads, so a swimming ring is necessary. Yi Xian stood aside, and several girls were looking at the water, eager to try. Who of you goes first? Looking at the excited looks of the girls, Yi Xian asked with amusement. I'll go first. Yi Xia walked out first, stood beside the swimming pool, looked at the water, took a deep breath, and then jumped in with a splash. Wow! For a moment, water splashed on the calm swimming pool. Yi Xia choked on the water several times, and then the swimming ring floated steadily on the water. Xia Xia is very brave. Yi Xian stood aside and gave Yi Xia a thumbs up. Dad, we want to go down too. At this time, the other girls also became excited, especially Yi Jing, who almost jumped down. Come on, let's go down together. Yeah. Then there were several consecutive sounds of water, and Yi Xian and several girls came to the swimming pool. Dad, please teach us how to learn to swim. Several girls went into the water. Although they felt refreshed and comfortable, they didn't know how to speed in the water like the athletes on TV. It's okay, take your time, swimming is easy to learn. Yi Xian smiled slightly, walked to the edge of the swimming pool and started his teaching. Girls, come here. Seeing Yi Xian going over, several maids followed him. Okay, next you just follow me and learn. As he spoke, Yi Xian grabbed the bricks at the edge of the swimming pool with both hands, slowly stood up, and moved his feet slowly. Then, Yi Xian sank his face into the water again and blew bubbles in it. A few girls watched Yi Xian's movements and immediately found them interesting, so they started to learn from him. Yi Xian was guiding and correcting them from the side, and soon, the girls' performance in the water improved significantly. At this time, they were able to slide their feet by holding the edge of the pool, and they could even open their eyes and breathe in the water. Girls, it's great that you can do this. It seems that you will be able to fly in the water soon. As they spoke, a smile broke out on the faces of the girls, and they all looked at Yi Xian. But at this time, these little guys all had the same smile on their faces. Yi Xian's smile slowly froze. What do you girls want to do? Yi Xian looked at the girls, who were already rubbing their hands in the water. Of course, to cool down Daddy. A few girls laughed, and as soon as they finished speaking, they all scooped up handfuls of water and threw them towards Yi Xian. Ah, Dad lost. The girls looked at Yi Xian being forced to retreat again and again by the splashes, and their smiles became even brighter. After playing for a while, the girls were tired. They also learned a lot of basic swimming skills today, so they followed them out. Dad, let's take a picture together. Yi Jing picked up the phone on the shore and looked at Yi Xian with a smile. We want it, too. Several girls also came over, and Yi Xian simply hugged them all in his arms, took the phone, and prepared to take a photo of them together. In the photos, everyone's smile was particularly bright. When it was time to eat, Yi Jing sent all the photos to Chen Jing and also sent a message. And Chen Jing, we are here at the summer resort. At the same time, Chen Jing was with Zhou Xian and saw the photos sent by the little girl. At first glance, she noticed Yi Xian's perfect muscles. The golden body proportions, the meticulously sculpted, well-defined muscles, and the mature and steady aura, the two were greatly shocked after seeing it. It's so beautiful. Zhou Xian immediately covered her mouth, looking obsessed, with her eyes fixed on the screen. Yi Jing looked at Zhou Xian's expression, then at Yi Xian's perfect muscles, and couldn't help but think in his heart. Xiniao, please come back soon, your boyfriend is simply too awesome. Chapter 59 Refusal to Confer Title. After swimming, the villa staff brought watermelons to Yi Xian and others. This watermelon is a black-skinned watermelon from abroad. It is very valuable and has undergone a special freezing process. It tastes refreshing, delicious, sweet and pleasant. Dad, why is this watermelon black? Several girls looked at the black watermelon on the table, their faces full of curiosity. This watermelon is not our local watermelon, it's from abroad, and it's very delicious. Dad will help you cut it now while it's still frozen. It's the most comfortable to eat. How do you think? The girls couldn't help drooling at the sight of the watermelons, and when they heard that Yi Xian was going to cut the watermelons, they immediately became excited. Great! Thanks, Dad. Thank you, Uncle Yi. Yi Xian looked at the expectant eyes of the girls, went to the kitchen to get a knife, cut the watermelons in half, then inserted a spoon into each half and handed them to the girls. Come on, one for each of you. Fortunately, the watermelon is not too big, and half a piece is just right for each person. After thanking Yi Xian, the girls each held one and started eating. Yi Xian looked at the girls having fun together, a smile on his face, and walked out to sit outside for a while. But after a while, Yi Xia ran over, scooped a spoonful of watermelon with a spoon and handed it to Yi Xian. Dad, eat watermelon. Yi Xian looked at Yi Xia and nodded with a smile. Then Dad, you're welcome. But just when Yi Xian was about to open his mouth to eat the watermelon handed to him by Yi Xia, the naughty little girl suddenly stuffed the spoon of watermelon into her mouth. Hey! Dad, you've been fooled. Yi Xia grinned foolishly and ran towards the house. Looking at the naughty and cute little girl, Yi Xian also followed her. Soon, Yi Xian chased into the house and saw that only a spoonful of Yi Xia's watermelon had been scooped away from the edge. Yi Xia blinked her big eyes at Yi Xian, then dug out the core of the watermelon, took out a large piece of fresh and juicy watermelon, and handed it to Yi Xian shakily. Give it to Daddy. Yi Xian looked at the beads of sweat on the little girl's face, squinted his eyes and shook his head. This is too big, how can Daddy eat it in one bite? How about we each take half? Hearing Yi Xian's words, Yi Xia pouted happily and nodded. Okay. At this time, Yi Xia's hand did not stop, and he handed the spoon to Yi Xian's mouth. Delicious. Yi Xian bit off half, and then Yi Xia also bit off half. The father and daughter looked at each other and burst out laughing. Ah, Dad, you look so weird when you eat watermelon. Yi Xia pointed at Yi Xian's mouth, which was still chewing, and laughed so hard that her waist bent. When the other girls saw this scene, they quickly scooped a large spoonful each and came to Yi Xian in unison. Dad! Dad! And we are here! Yi Jing and Yi Shi each took a large spoonful of watermelon and brought it to Yi Xian's mouth. Thank you, girls. Looking at the spoonfuls of watermelon handed over by the girls, Yi Xian felt a strong sense of happiness in his heart and nodded with a smile. Uncle Yi, you have to finish what Xiaodan feeds you. Zhou Xiaodan also handed over a spoon and smiled sweetly at Yi Xian. Yes. Thank you, Xiaodan. Yi Xian was not polite either. He ate the watermelon fed by the maids bite by bite. The atmosphere in the whole room was warm and harmonious. Although the watermelon was cold, Yi Xian's heart was always filled with warmth. At this time, a Hongqi L5 drove outside. The most important thing was that there was a license plate of the Yanhuang military department hanging on this Hongqi. As soon as the general manager saw the vehicle in front of him, he was stunned. Then, a man wearing the uniform of the Yanhuang military got out of the car. Seeing this, the general manager hurried to greet him. The man was a young man, wearing a military uniform. He stood straight, and it was obvious that he had undergone professional training to be able to achieve such a posture. Also, although he is young, his face has a hint of murderousness and ruthlessness that exudes a sense of intimidation without even being angry. While he is handsome, he also makes people feel a strong sense of oppression. The young man straightened his military uniform slightly, then strode into the service lobby at the entrance of the villa. The general manager just happened to come over at this time and respectfully asked the soldier in front of him, who was dressed in military uniform and had an extraordinary demeanor. "Excuse me, sir, what can I do for you?" The young man looked at the general manager in front of him, sized him up briefly, and then continued. "I'm looking for Yi Xian Yilong, Mr. Yi." "What did you say, Mr. Yi?" The general manager almost staggered, with deep shock in his eyes. It was too hard for him to understand why the other party with such an identity came to find Yi Xian. In an instant, the general manager's respect for Yi Xian's status and admiration for him increased again. "Okay. Sir, follow me." The general manager did not dare to delay at the moment. After all, this man was a military man. He immediately took the young man to find Yi Xian. At this moment, Yi Xian was surrounded by several girls and couldn't get away. At this moment, the general manager walked in with that man. Yi Xian heard the noise, looked outside, saw the person coming, stood up and smiled. "Zhang Chang, long time no see." The children saw that the visitor was dressed neatly and formally, and Yi Jing looked at Yi Xian sensibly and obediently. "Dad, do you want to talk about something? Then let's go out and play." Afterwards, Yi Jing led Yi Xia and Zhou Xiaodan out, counted them, and suddenly found that one was missing. "Hey! Where's Xiaoxi?" It was just a question, and the girls immediately reacted and walked inside. When they saw Yi Xi was still holding Yi Xian tightly, they shook their heads helplessly. "Xiaoxi, let's go out and play, come on." Yi Jing and Yi Xia pulled Yi Xi and wanted to run outside, but Yi Xi still held Yi Xian reluctantly and was not willing to go out at all. I don't want to go out." Yi Xian looked at this scene, gently stroking the stubborn face of the little girl Yi Xi, and also felt helpless. But Yi Xi alone was no match for Yi Xia and Yi Jing. Although she was reluctant, she was still forcibly dragged out. These kids. When the general manager saw this scene, he knew that this was not the place where he should stay any longer, so he left immediately. Zhang Chan looked at the girls beside him and looked at Yi Xian with inquiring eyes. Afterwards, he saw Yi Xian looking at these children with a doting look, and Zhang Cheng couldn't believe that what he saw was real. After all, General Yi Long back then was the one who guarded the southern border with only one sword and one red flag, and drove the enemy back thousands of miles away. At that time, Yi Xian's eyes alone were enough to chill the enemy to death, and just a raised eyebrow was enough to shatter the courage of those jumping clowns. But looking at Yi Xian's eyes now, one can only see a touch of warmth and doting. He is no longer the nightmare of countless enemies. He is simply a super dad. After Yi Xian watched the girls go out, he turned around and saw the confusion in Zhang Cheng's eyes, and smiled indifferently. "Those are my daughters." Daughter. Zhang Cheng was completely stunned, but no matter how he looked at it, Yi Xian didn't seem to be lying. And based on his impression of Yi Xian would never make such a joke. Then Yi Xian sat down, made some tea, looked at the golden star on Zhang Cheng's shoulder, and nodded. Not bad, they have all become dragon generals. Only then did Zhang Cheng slowly come back to his senses from his shock and smiled awkwardly. "It's nothing. There's definitely no way to compare with you." Yi Xian looked at Zhang Cheng, who was still standing, took a sip of tea, smiled and waved to him. "Tell me, why are you standing here all the time? Sit down now." Zhang Cheng nodded, sat down without any hesitation, and began to talk about the purpose of his visit. "Brother Yi, I came here this time to invite you to attend the inauguration ceremony. After unanimous agreement, we cannot have you without us at this investiture ceremony." As Zhang Cheng was speaking, his mind was filled with a myriad of thoughts. This awarding of titles was an unprecedented event. And this time, General Yi Long will be awarded the rank of 5-star Dragon General. This is unprecedented in the entire Yanhuang military. Being able to become a Dragon General is enough to show your importance in the Yanhuang military, and being a 5-star Dragon General is simply unbelievable. "I'm not going." Yi Xian listened quietly, poured a cup of tea for Zhang Cheng, took a few sips himself, then shook his head and said, "Brother Yi, you're not going." Suddenly, Zhang Cheng stood there in a daze, his heart filled with extreme horror. "This is the ceremony to confer the title of 5-star Dragon General. How can you just not go? After a pause, Zhang Chang wanted to speak again, but was interrupted by Yi Xian with a wave of his hand. At this time, Yi Xian stood up, looked at the beautiful scenery outside the window and the laughter of several girls, and said calmly, "In prosperous times, I will retreat, to keep China safe, without the need for these false names. In troubled times, I will advance, to protect China, without the need for these false names." Hearing this, Zhang Chang was stunned for a moment, then he took a deep breath and understood what Yi Xian meant. "Brother Yi, I understand everything you said. Thank you for your teaching." As he spoke, Zhang Chang saluted Yi Xian solemnly, then turned and left. A few little girls were playing outside, and when they saw Zhang Chang leaving, they tiptoed to the door, poked their little heads out, and quietly observed the situation inside. They looked so cute. When Yi Xian saw this scene, an indulgent smile appeared on his face. He waved to the maids, and they ran in like the wind. Chapter 60. Dad is going to Tianjing. Dad. As soon as the girls came in, they all threw themselves into Yi Xian's arms, snuggling up to him and not wanting to leave. "Dad, why does the uncle who just left look so cold?" Yi Xi hugged Yi Xian's arm and asked with some fear. Seeing the little girl like this, Yi Xian was immediately happy. After all, Zhang Chang was a genuine dragon general, a rare iron-blooded tough guy. For such a person, laughing is uglier than crying. After a few more days, the hottest days of the summer vacation were over. In the morning, Yi Xian prepared to leave with a few maids. They had stayed here long enough, and it was almost time to leave. After Zhou Xiaodan packed her luggage, she looked at her cell phone and then ran to Yi Xian's side. "Uncle Yi, my dad will be here to pick me up soon. I want to go back to my hometown during the holiday." "Yeah, okay." Yi Xian smiled and rubbed Zhou Xiaodan's head, nodding slightly. But in this case, Yi Jing and others were not very happy. After all, it's fun for children to play together, and it's hard to let them go at this time. "Xiaodan, are you really leaving?" Yi Jing held Zhou Xiaodan's hand and looked at her reluctantly. "Don't worry, I'll come play with you guys when I get back." Zhou Xiaodan comforted Yi Jing. Although Yi Xia and Yi Shi were reluctant, they had no choice but to accept it. "Okay, let's go." Yi Xian packed up his things and saw that the maids had almost finished packing, so he took the maids and walked outside. Soon, they arrived at the gate of the summer resort. At this time, Zhou Shang and Sunny were already standing at the door. Looking at this picturesque, cool and leisurely summer resort, they were also shocked. "This place is great, it's the best place to escape the heat in the summer." Zhou Shang looked around at the scenery of the mountain resort and murmured to himself. "It's not that simple. I heard a friend of mine talk about this before. Their boss wanted to book a small villa here. If they say there's no villa available, then there's no villa. If you don't book in advance, you can't stay there at all." Sunny shook her head. Although she liked it here very much, she didn't hold out much hope. "That's true. There's no need for us to come here to escape the heat. I think we can just stay at home. We can use air conditioning and fans, and it won't be that hot." As Zhou Shang spoke, he took a deep breath and couldn't help feeling a little emotional. "But you know what, the air quality here is really good. Forget about the air quality, our daughter is already out." Sunny rolled her eyes at Zhou Shang and pointed at Yi Xian and his group who were walking out. "Dad! Mom!" Zhou Xiaodan also saw her parents at this time and rushed over excitedly. "Xiaodan, you miss Mom and Dad so much." Zhou Shang picked up Zhou Xiaodan and then asked while looking at the little girl's excited face. "By the way, Xiaodan, have you been obedient to Uncle Yi these days? Xiaodan is a very well-behaved child." At this time, Yi Xian also walked over with a smile, and glanced at Zhou Xiaodan in Zhou Shang's arms with a smile. "Girl, when you go home, you must listen to your parents." "I understand, Uncle Yi." Zhou Xiaodan nodded heavily, while Zhou Shang and Sunny looked at Yi Xian at the same time. "Mr. Yi, I'm really sorry to bother you this time. I don't know what to say. Thank you so much for taking care of my daughter these days. I wonder if this girl has caused any trouble for you." Sunny thanked Yi Xian repeatedly, her tone and expression full of gratitude. Zhou Shang, who was holding Zhou Xiaodan, also thanked Yi Xian at this time. "It's okay. I've already said that Xiaodan is very well behaved. Besides, it's good for the children to play together and have fun. This is what we parents want, isn't it?" Hearing Yi Xian's words, Sunny and Zhou Shang both nodded. "Okay, then Mr. Yi, we'll leave first." Sunny and Zhou Shang waved to Yi Xian and others and prepared to leave. Goodbye, Uncle Yi. Thank you, Uncle Yi. Xiaodan was held by Zhou Shang at this moment and waved to Yi Xian and others. Yeah. Come play again when you have time. Good. After saying goodbye to Yi Xian and others, Zhou Shang and Sunny took Zhou Xiaodan into the car. Xiaodan, have you had fun these days? Is there anything interesting? Sunny and Zhou Xiaodan sat in the back seat. While driving, Zhou Shang asked Zhou Xiaodan about what had happened in the past few days. Yeah, it was fun. We also ate black-skinned watermelon, which is a foreign watermelon. And the villas in the resort are like castles in the forest, all covered with green vegetation, and there's a huge swimming pool in the back. The little girl talked non-stop about what she had heard and seen in the past few days. For a moment, Zhou Shang and Sunny were helpless. If they wanted to broaden their horizons, it seemed they had to rely on their daughter. At the same time, Yi Xian also returned home with a few maids. We are finally home. Yi Jing put down her luggage, looked at everything familiar in front of her, and stretched leisurely. Yi Xian also sat down and made himself a pot of tea, but at this time, Tang Hao walked in. Brother Yi, can you come over here for a moment? There is something here that I think I need to tell you. Good. Putting down the teacup, Yi Xian nodded, then looked at the girls beside him. Girls, you guys play here first. Daddy's going to go out and talk to Uncle Tang. Good. The girls nodded obediently, and Yi Xian followed Tang Hao to the yard outside the villa. Tang Hao looked at Yi Xian and said seriously. Brother Yi, sister-in-law. After a while, Yi Xian returned to the villa, sat on the sofa, and waved to the girls beside him with a smile. Soon, several girls threw themselves into Yi Xian's arms. Girls, Dad has something to tell you. Dad has to go to Tianjing in the next few days. I will ask your Aunt Chen Jing to accompany you later. What? Hearing this, the girls immediately lost their composure and looked at Yi Xian with confusion. Dad, what on earth are you going to do? Yeah, Dad, why do you need to be gone so long? Dad, can you bear to abandon your 3 lovely and smart daughters? Several maids were all pestering Yi Xian, wanting to know what Yi Xian was going to do in Tianjing, but at the same time they didn't really want Yi Xian to go. Yi Xian didn't say anything, just smiled, which made the girls angry, but they still pestered him. After a while, Chen Jing came here after hearing the news. Chapter 61 Plastic Sisters. As soon as Chen Jing walked in and saw the children, she was stunned and covered her mouth. Ah, this. These kids seem to have gained a little weight after only a few days of not seeing them. They are even cuter than before. Then Chen Jing was also helpless. It was not the children's fault. After all, they could eat so many delicious foods by following Yi Xian. Chen Jing, I have to go to Tianjing. I'd like you to take care of these children for a few days, okay? When Yi Xian saw Chen Jing coming, he stood up and stated his request. Okay, that's no problem. Chen Jing smiled and nodded. She really wanted to be with these little girls. Let's go, babies. Let's go to Auntie's house. Then, Chen Jing turned around and looked at the little girls, smiling dotingly. No need, just stay here. There are other drivers and housekeepers here. There are also people who provide food, clothing, housing, and transportation. You can use them as you like. As Yi Xian spoke, he squatted down, kissed the little faces of several children, and whispered. Girls, Daddy won't be here for the next few days, so you must listen to Aunt Chen Jing. Dad is going to the airport now. You guys have to behave yourself here. Okay, Dad. We got it. Several girls nodded heavily, indicating that they would be good and obedient in the next few days. Brother Yi, we can set off now. The charter plane is ready. Good. Yi Xian nodded, stood up, took one last look at the girls, revealed a warm smile, and then walked out of the villa with Tang Hao. After arriving at the airport manager was standing outside to greet them personally. When he saw Yi Xian coming, he quickly stepped forward and bowed, then said respectfully, Mr. Yi, welcome to our airport. It is truly a great honor for us. The plane is ready for you. You can leave whenever you want, Mr. Yi. Yi Xian didn't delay any longer. He looked calmly at the planes parked nearby and said, Then let's go now. Okay, Mr. Yi, please follow me. Not long after, Yi Xian stepped onto the plane, sat on the wide leather seat, waiting for takeoff. Mr. Yi, would you like something to drink? A beautiful stewardess with fair skin and excellent temperament came over and smiled sweetly at Yi Xian politely. Just boiled water. Yi Xian said lightly, and then he closed his eyes and began to rest. When the flight attendants saw this scene, they understood what was going on and no one bothered Yi Xian anymore. Tang Hao sat next to Yi Xian, looked at Yi Xian, took a deep breath, and then spoke slowly. Brother Yi, regarding the Nine Flags incident, I heard that they have been making some moves recently, and even have the intention of tearing up the agreement. Hearing this, Yi Xian's closed eyes moved slightly, paused for a moment, and then spoke slowly. No problem. Seeing this, Tang Hao stopped talking. After all, he believed Yi Xian's words 300%. At the same time, inside the villa, Chen Jing tidied up, then looked at the little guys and said gently, "Girls, where do you want to go? Can I take you there?" But at this time, the little guys didn't seem to be very interested, and no one spoke. You guys, you used to look at me with a smile, but what about now? You've forgotten about your aunt now that you have a dad? You really get bored with the old and love the new. Chen Jing smiled and rubbed the little girls' faces, speaking with a complaining tone. This sentence was extremely lethal to Yi Jing and the other girls. They hurried over and snuggled into Chen Jing's arms, saying with a silly smile, "Hee. Aunt Chen Jing, that's not true. We still like Aunt Chen Jing very much. Yes, Aunt Chen Jing is so nice to us. Aunt Chen Jing, don't be angry, we just don't know where to go to play." Chen Jing looked at the girls and immediately burst into smiles. After playing with them for a while, she began to think about where to take these little ones to play. But at this moment, Zhou Xian called. After Chen Jing answered the phone, a lazy voice was heard. "My beautiful lady, what are you doing? By the way, I got some tickets for a calligraphy exhibition. How about coming?" Hearing this, Chen Jing hesitated and said with a smile, "Well, wait for me to ask." After saying that, Chen Jing shifted her gaze to the girls and pointed at the phone. "Girls, do you want to go to the calligraphy exhibition? Think." Yi Jing and the other maids nodded and became interested. "Okay, Zhou Xian, wait a minute, we'll set off now." After saying that, Chen Jing let a few girls out and prepared to go to the calligraphy exhibition. The driver waiting at the door drove a Bentley and quickly took them to the exhibition site. The exhibition was held on the first floor of Jinling Art Museum. At this moment, even the square outside was packed with people. In the center of the square, there is a huge billboard with an outline of this exhibition. After Chen Jing got off the car with the girl, they walked inside. When they arrived in front of the art museum, they saw a familiar figure. The figure was none other than Zhou Xian, who had been waiting for a long time. "Zhou Xian. We are here." Zhou Xian looked over when she heard the sound, and saw Chen Jing leading a few girls over, and she was immediately happy. "Hey, Chen Jing, look at how many people you brought with you. I only have 4 tickets. Then, Zhou Xian took out 4 tickets for the calligraphy exhibition from her bag and shook them in her hand. Chen Jing curled her lips, took it directly and said with a smile, "That's perfect." Zhou Xian was suddenly confused, scratched his head, looked at Chen Jing and asked, "Just right? How come it's just right?" Looking at Zhou Xian's silly look, Chen Jing burst out laughing again. "Haha, look, me and my 3 kids, isn't that exactly 4 people?" As she spoke, Chen Jing handed the other 3 tickets to several maids. "This." Zhou Xian paused, looking at Chen Jing's evil smile. He always felt that something was not right. "Then what should I do?" When Chen Jing heard this, she pretended to be enlightened, took a deep breath, and then spoke slowly. "Oh, I think you're here too. I forgot." Zhou Xian rolled her eyes upon hearing this, walked up to Chen Jing and pinched her, saying unhappily, "You are such a fake sister. You didn't even count me in my ticket." Chapter 62, Not as good as daddy's. Chen Jing looked at the increasing number of people walking into the venue, so she stopped joking around and waved her hand. "Oh, it's okay. We just need to go and talk to the ticket inspector. These kids are so young, they don't need tickets at all." Forehead. Zhou Xian was slightly stunned, then looked at a few girls, and then he looked as if he suddenly realized something. "That seems to be the case." Chen Jing looked at Zhou Xian, who seemed to have just understood, shook her head helplessly, and pointed to the front and spoke. "Let's go, there are more and more people, let's go in quickly." "Good." Zhou Xian nodded, and the 2 of them walked inside with a few maids. As expected, little kids like the girls didn't need tickets. The 2 of them only used 2 tickets and brought the girls into the exhibition site. This calligraphy exhibition is a large-scale calligraphy and painting exhibition, including both official and private ones. The origins of these exhibits span ancient and modern times, including both modern and ancient ones. This is also one of the rare occasions when Jinling Art Museum opens the entire first floor for exhibitions. After everyone entered the venue, they wandered around casually at first, but at some point, a chubby young man came over. This young man looks fat. When he walks with bigger steps, you can see the fat shaking on his body. He was wearing loose casual clothes and black framed glasses. He looked a bit greasy and a bit vulgar. Zhou Xin. You are here too. After seeing Zhou Xin, the young man first greeted her, and then approached her as if he knew her well. Seeing Chen Jing and other little girls beside Zhou Xin, the young man first introduced himself. Hello, I'm a member of the Jinling Calligraphy Association. My name is Wang Fong. May I know who you are? While introducing, Wang Fong looked at Chen Jing. Chen Jing was caught off guard for a moment, and looked at the person in front of her in confusion. She paused before speaking. Hello, my name is Chen Jing. Wang Fong nodded and bowed politely. Hello, Miss Chen Jing. Nice to meet you. It seems that you also like calligraphy. That's great. My father happens to be the vice president of the Jinling Calligraphy Association and one of the organizers of this exhibition. I can introduce you to him. As Wang Fong spoke, a smug smile inadvertently appeared on his face. The more Chen Jing looked at it, the more confused she became, and she whispered to Zhou Xin. Who is this? Why does he look a little weird? Zhou Xin glanced at the young man and said unhappily. Didn't he just say that? Oh, this guy has been pestering me lately. It's really annoying. Chen Jing looked at Zhou Xin's expression and instantly understood what was going on. Ms. Zhou Xin, Miss Chen Jing, and these lovely children, since we have met, it must be fate. How about I take you for a good look? Seeing Zhou Xin and Chen Jing whispering, Wang Fong simply raised his voice to interrupt them. When the girls saw Wang Fong like this, they couldn't help but hide behind Chen Jing, poking their little heads out and looking at Wang Fong vigilantly. Ah, that's not necessary, we can just go for a walk by ourselves. Zhou Xin said coldly, and it seemed that she was not going to give any face to Wang Fong. No way, since you are here to visit, as a member of the Jinling Calligraphy Association, I have to take you on a tour. Unexpectedly, Wang Fong didn't buy it. He said something that could not be refused and then made an invitation gesture. Everyone, come with me, I will take you to have a good look. Then, Wang Fong walked forward, looking back after every step. Oh. It's so troublesome. Zhou Xin had no choice but to pull Chen Jing and a few maids up together. Wang Fong turned around and saw the scene, a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. He walked to a watercolor painting and introduced it with a smile. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a painting of lotus picking in Jiangnan, painted by a famous contemporary painter. Look at the overall color tone. Doesn't it have a sense of age? And do the watercolor and Jiangnan complement each other and set off each other properly? Wang Fong introduced enthusiastically, and did not forget to wink at Zhou Xin, which made Zhou Xin almost collapse. Ms. Zhou Xin, do you think this painting is beautiful? Even though Zhou Xin was about to roll her eyes in anger, Wang Fong still did not forget to ask a question and gave her a gentle look. Not to mention Zhou Xin, even Chen Jing, who was standing by, felt a chill all over her body. It's okay. Zhou Xin glanced to the side and answered hastily. Wang Fong's eyes rolled and he said with a smile. I see. Miss Zhou Xin should be more interested in calligraphy. I'll take you to see it. Everyone, please. Wang Fong smiled slyly and brought Zhou Xin and others to some calligraphy works. Ahem. When he came to these words, Wang Fong's attitude was obviously much more serious. He first coughed to clear his throat, and then continued. Hey guys, I want to introduce these words in detail. First of all, these words were written by a writer. The greatest characteristic of this writer is that his handwriting is light, gentle, and has a hint of elegance. Look carefully, these calligraphy pieces were all completed in one go. The strokes and endings are so natural, and the overall layout is also quite neat. Look at this calligraphy. This is praise of the humble house. I wrote it when I was living in seclusion in the mountains. Isn't it pretty? And this one is Viewing the Ocean, also written by me. This one was written by me last year when I was at the beach enjoying the sea breeze. Ha, this one is my favorite, this one. Upon hearing this, Chen Jing and Zhou Xin's faces were filled with black lines. It turned out that this guy had been introducing this for so long because he had written this word himself. Wang Feng also noticed the surprised looks on Chen Jing and Zhou Xian's faces at this time. He thought they were surprised by his own handwriting. He was so proud at this moment. Ha, how about it, isn't it great? If you like it, I can sell it to you. We are friends, so my price will naturally be fair. After these words were spoken, Chen Jing and Zhou Xian were both trying to hold back their laughter. There is nothing wrong with being narcissistic, but it is wrong not to know one's own weight. Yi Jing looked at the words carefully, then pulled Chen Jing and said in a baby voice, "Aunt Chen Jing, this handwriting is not as good as my father's." Chen Jing couldn't help laughing when she saw the serious look on the little girl's face. She could tell from her appearance that this calligraphy couldn't be compared with anyone else, not even with the other ones next to it. Chapter 63 Don't Take What Dad Gave Me. Zhou Xian also shook his head at this time and sneered with disdain. Just this one word, who gave him such confidence? However, Yi Jing's words only flashed through the minds of the two, especially Chen Jing. No matter what, no matter how powerful Yi Xian is, he can't know everything, right? Not only is he rich, he's also handsome, can cook, loves children, can draw, and has a good figure. These advantages are enough for Chen Jing to think carefully. If there is anything else he can do, he is really not a human being. But Wang Feng heard what Yi Jing said just now, paused slightly, looked at Yi Jing, folded his hands, and continued. Little girl, I'm afraid you don't know how to appreciate words. The artistic conception of my words is not something you can understand. As for your father's handwriting, it may be a little more square, but it can't compare with mine. I'm a member of the Calligraphy Association. Haven't you heard of it? Don't use your father's hobby to challenge my profession. When Yi Jing heard this, she suddenly became angry and her voice became a little louder. What? My dad's handwriting is better than this. Wang Feng was too lazy to argue with a little girl. He just chuckled and was too lazy to continue talking. Yi Jing looked at his expression, pouted and looked at Chen Jing and the others, and said with some dissatisfaction, "My father's handwriting is really good." Looking at the little girl like this, Chen Jing smiled helplessly and gently touched her little head. But at this moment, a noisy sound came from the surroundings, attracting almost everyone's attention. Some old men are coming. When others saw the scene, they also looked in the direction of the sound and were stunned. Aren't these the old men from the Jinling Calligraphy and Painting Association? Oh my god, the leader is old man Wanyan, the president of the association. TSK, this is the real boss. For a moment, everyone who saw this scene was shocked. When Wang Feng saw Wanyan, he quickly walked over respectfully and said with a smile, "President Wang, you are here." Wanyan saw Wang Feng in front of him and asked with a little confusion, "Who are you?" At this moment, a middle-aged man behind him came up, looked at Wang Feng, and introduced him to Wanyan. "President Wang, this is my son, Wang Feng." Wanyan then nodded and said with a smile, "Not bad. Not bad. Very good." Wanyan and Wang Feng exchanged a few pleasantries and got to know each other. But after seeing Wanyan, Yi Jing hid slightly behind Chen Jing. But Wanyan saw it at a glance and was stunned, his eyes trembling. After a moment of shock, Wanyan took a few deep breaths, adjusted his breathing, then walked over here with a smile, and waved to Yi Jing who was hiding behind Chen Jing. "Hey, little girl, long time no see." At this point, Yi Jing felt even more frightened. She hugged Chen Jing tightly and used her little hands to protect the backpack on her back. Yi Jing is now very alert, fearing that Wanyan will come over and snatch her school bag. "Aunt Chen Jing, this grandpa wants to snatch the calligraphy that Dad gave Jingjing." Then, Yi Jing looked at Chen Jing again, pointed at Wanyan pitifully and said. For a moment, Chen Jing was stunned, not quite understanding what this meant. But seeing the frightened look on the little girl Yi Jing's face, he looked at Wanyan with some vigilance. The other little guys also stood beside Yi Jing and looked at Wanyan together. As a result, people around began to whisper as they watched this tense scene. "Hey, what's going on? I don't quite understand. Hey! Didn't you hear what that girl said just now? This old man wanted to take away something that someone else's father gave her. Wow! Is this old man so mean? Wait, isn't this the president of the Calligraphy and Painting Association? TSK. This is so disrespectful to the elderly." The people around were getting more and more excited as the discussion went on, saying all sorts of things, which made Wanyan's face turn black. At this moment, Wang Yan looked at the vigilant eyes of Yi Jing and others in front of him, as well as the pointing and whispering of other people around him, and he almost couldn't breathe. For a moment, his heart was filled with turbulent emotions and the corners of his mouth could not help but twitch. I am so wronged. When did I say I was going to steal it? Did I ask you if you wanted to change it? Wang Yan felt helpless, as if he could not wash himself clean even if he jumped into the Yellow River. He never thought that at his age, with such a great reputation, he would fall for a little girl. Then, Wang Yan looked at the association members beside and behind him, and waved his hands sharply to explain. Everyone! Don't get me wrong! Don't get me wrong! When they heard Wang Yan speak, the people who were still discussing suddenly quieted down and looked towards Wang Yan. Before, I thought his father's handwriting was very beautiful, so I wanted to exchange it with this little girl. Please don't misunderstand me, I'm not that kind of person. After this explanation, everyone understood, but they were also filled with deep curiosity. What kind of words are these that could make Wang Yan take them so seriously? After all, Wang Yan is the president of the Jinling Calligraphy and Painting Association. He is a very powerful figure. How many people's handwriting can make him look like this? Chen Jing and Zhou Xian were even more stunned. At this time, they were completely confused. Originally they thought that Yi Xian only had other strengths, but they didn't expect that Yi Xian's calligraphy had reached such a level. Judging from Wang Feng's reaction and words just now, this Wang Yan is the president of the Calligraphy and Painting Association. Even such a big shot was amazed at Yi Xian's handwriting. So how exaggerated was Yi Xian's handwriting? Even Wang Feng once again remembered the words Yi Xian had seen before, and his expression was similar to that of everyone else, full of surprise and deep shock. The more Chen Jing thought about it, the more curious she became. She then looked at Yi Jing, squatted down, looked at her cute little face, and spoke gently. Xiao Jing, did you bring this word? Can you show it to us? Yi Jing still looked at Wang Yan vigilantly without saying anything, but seemed to be worried that Wang Yan would snatch it away. Don't worry, little girl. Grandpa really won't steal your things. I swear I won't. After hearing this, Yi Jing still looked at Wang Yan with some suspicion. Wang Yan was also at a loss whether to laugh or cry. He swore several times in succession before the girl slowly relaxed her guard. All right. Chapter 64 Awe-inspiring. Yi Jing nodded gently, then slowly took off her school bag, unzipped it, carefully took out the painting inside, opened it and laid it flat in front of everyone. When everyone saw the scene, they all came over, but as soon as they saw these words, they all gasped. Oh my God! Heaven is vigorous. What kind of writing is this? It's like a god. Wow! I feel like I've been elevated. In an instant, when everyone saw these words, they all felt a surge of righteousness throughout their bodies, and a sense of great power flowed through their bodies. While looking at this painting, everyone's expression was filled with indescribable shock. The members of the Calligraphy Association felt ashamed just watching this. This word is far superior to them and it is not even a product of the same dimension. If the words written by Yi Xian are the work of a master, then the words they wrote are just elementary school students playing house. At this moment, Wang Feng was completely dumbfounded and felt ashamed. What is even more terrifying is that his words are placed next to it. What kind of comparison is this? Moreover, he had previously boasted that his handwriting was better than that of this girl's father. Now, where on earth did he get the courage to do that? If there was a hole in the ground nearby at this moment, he would have crawled in without hesitation. This was really too embarrassing. At this moment, Chen Jing's eyes froze, staring at the words spread out on the ground, not knowing what to say. She was shocked again and again by the little girl's father, and now she felt like she was almost numb. At this moment, she could all imagine how shocked her best friend Xinya would be when she came back. But all this did not last long. After a few seconds, Yi Jing carefully rolled up the words and then carefully placed them into a small Wang Wali wooden tube. Suddenly, everyone fell silent. Looking at the innocent face of this little girl, they couldn't help but sigh in their hearts. This little girl is so stingy. She just looked at it for a few seconds and put it away? Ah! Everyone felt regretful at the moment and wanted to take another look at the words. However, they were so shocked that no one remembered to take out their cell phones to take a picture. But looking at the little girl Yi Jing, she still looked alert. For a moment, everyone shifted their gaze to Wang Yan, with a hint of resentment in their eyes. Wang Yan looked at the eyes of the people around him, his face was full of question marks, and he couldn't help but shout in his heart. What do you mean? Why are you looking at me like that? This is none of my business. Wang Feng had already felt that the atmosphere here was depressing. Even if Zhou Xian was still here, he didn't have the nerve to stay any longer. Thinking of this, Wang Feng left here in shame while no one was paying attention, and he was afraid of being discovered. At this time, Wang Yan looked at the crowd still surrounding this place, as if he wanted to take another look at the words just now. Then he coughed lightly and waved to everyone. Ahem. Everyone, please go away. There is nothing you want to see here. Please do not disrupt the order of the venue and keep the passage clear. When everyone heard this, although they were reluctant, they felt that there was no hope when they saw Yi Jing holding the school bag tightly and refused to let go, so they all left. Even when they were leaving, people still looked at Wang Yan with resentment, as if they still felt that the little girl didn't let them continue watching because Wang Yan was interfering. Wang Yan's lips were twitching with anger. He felt like a dumb person eating bitter herbs, unable to express his pain. But there was no other way. Wang Yan had to stand where he was, and wait until everyone had left before he looked at Chen Jing and others. Everyone, let me introduce myself again. I am Wang Yan, the president of the Jinling Calligraphy and Painting Association. It is our honor that you can come to visit us. How about this, I'll show you around and be your guide. If you have any questions, you can always ask me. Chen Jing and Zhou Xian looked at each other, then looked at Wang Yan's kind eyes and nodded. Compared with Wang Feng just now, Wang Yan is far superior to his half-full bucket of water. After all, this is a true authority. Then I'll trouble you, President Wang. No. It's my honor. Wang Yan smiled happily and looked at Yi Jing. When the little girl saw Wang Yan looking at her, she snorted coldly and held the bag in her hand even tighter. Snort. Wang Yan had no choice but to smile bitterly and lead everyone forward, introducing the exhibits and trying to find the words again, but Yi Jing simply avoided him. Wang Yan had foreseen such a result. After all, this girl had already regarded him as a bad old man who wanted to steal things. This was something he could never clear himself of. After strolling for a while, the girls became tired and gently pulled Chen Jing, saying pitifully, Aunt Chen Jing, we don't want to play anymore, can we go back now? Seeing the girls looking tired, Chen Jing nodded. After all, this was not the place that attracted these girls. Okay, let's go back then. As she spoke, Chen Jing also looked at Wang Yan beside her and said with a smile, President Wang, thank you for your hospitality. We have almost finished shopping now, and the girls are tired, so we will go back first. Okay. Then I'll take you out. Afterwards, everyone walked towards the outside of the exhibition. As soon as they walked out, they saw a Bentley waiting. For a moment, everyone was a little shocked. This was a rare luxury car. But the next moment, what was even more shocking was that several little girls came jumping and skipping to the side of the car, and the driver got out of the car and respectfully opened the door for the girls. Chen Jing also said goodbye to Zhou Xian, then got into the car with a few girls and prepared to go back. This also belongs to their father. Zhou Xian looked at this scene and was shocked like a storm. Obviously, the last time, it was not this car. Last time it was a Rolls-Royce, and this time it was changed to a Bentley. Does he have a mine at home? After returning home, the little girls played around for a while, but they felt bored looking at the spacious villa. Chen Jing looked at the girls and said unhappily, You girls, isn't it just that your dad is away for a few days? Is it necessary to be like this? Chapter 65 This is the Imperial Seal. Yi Jing, Yi Xia, and Yi Shi were still slumped on the sofa at this time, looking at Chen Jing listlessly. Aunt Chen Jing, we just don't know what to play? Yi Shi stretched lazily and said aggrievedly, but at this time, Yi Xia looked at the spacious villa and had an idea in his mind. By the way, we can play hide and seek. Yi Xia stood up excitedly and spoke to Chen Jing, Yi Jing, and Yi Shi who were around him. Look, Dad's villa is so wide, just perfect for playing hide and seek. When Yi Jing and Yi Shi heard this proposal, their eyes lit up and they immediately became excited. Yeah. That's a good idea. I want to play. I want to play. At this moment, these girls hit it off immediately and then all looked at Chen Jing standing aside. Aunt Chen Jing, come play hide and seek with us. Hide and seek. Chen Jing watched the little girls change from depressed to excited, and she was unable to react for a while. But looking at the expectant eyes of the little ones in front of her, she had no choice but to nod helplessly. Okay, Auntie will play with you. Yeah. Several little girls jumped off the sofa and danced to celebrate the game that was about to begin. But, who of us should go find someone first? Yi Shi asked weakly at this time, and Yi Jing and Yi Xia looked at Chen Jing on the side as if they had discussed it beforehand. "And Chen Jing, let's hide first, can you come find us?" Yi Xia giggled foolishly, holding Chen Jing's hand and said sweetly. "Well, you little guys, there's really nothing we can do about you." Then, Chen Jing stood by the wall, turned around and smiled at the girls. "Girls, hurry up and hide, Auntie is going to start counting. 1, 2, 3. Then, Chen Jing covered her eyes and started counting against the wall. "Run!" Yi Xia nodded, then shouted, pulled Yi Shi and Yi Jing to the side. 38. 39. 40. After a while, Chen Jing counted to 40 and finally opened her eyes. She looked around and it was quiet, with no one around. "Your Aunt Chen Jing is coming." Chen Jing murmured something, and then began to search in this huge villa. At this time, Yi Shi ran into the study. Looking at this spacious and clean study filled with books, she didn't know where to hide for a moment. "Oh right. Bookcase." Yi Shi looked at the bookcase and suddenly had an idea in her mind. She thought that the bookcase was so big, it should be able to accommodate her at least. Afterwards, Yi Shi opened the bookcase, but at the moment she opened the bookcase, a green light flashed past and flickered in front of her eyes. Iris scan successful. But before Yi Shi could react, an electronic prompt sounded again. Boom! Then, the bookcase was pulled open to both sides, making a series of noises. After it finally stopped, a passage was revealed, leading directly to the underground. Yi Shi was stunned for a moment, looking at the weird scene in front of her, she was completely dumbfounded. But I don't know where this girl got the courage from, or maybe it's because this is her father's house, which gives her enough sense of security. Yi Shi paused for a moment and then walked towards the passage leading to the underground. Not long after, Chen Jing found Yi Jing and Yi Xia, but strangely, she couldn't find Yi Shi. Yi Xia and Yi Jing also helped search in the house for a while, calling Yi Shi's name while searching. The carpet-style search almost circled the villa, but still found nothing. At this time, Chen Jing became a little anxious, and hurriedly took out her phone and dialed. Ding ding ding. At the same time, a crisp sound came from Yi Shi's phone watch, which made Yi Shi move his eyes away from the glowing bead in front of him. "Xiao Shi, where are you? We can't find you. Come out quickly." After getting through to Yi Shi, Chen Jing breathed a sigh of relief and immediately asked about the little girl's current location. "Aunt Chen Jing, I'm in the study now. I just opened the bookcase and walked into a secret passage." Secret passage. When Chen Jing heard this, her heart suddenly tightened. She was afraid that Yi Shi might be in danger, so she hurriedly walked towards the study room in 2 steps. As soon as she entered the study, Chen Jing went straight to the bookcase, but no matter what, after Chen Jing opened the bookcase, she couldn't open the passage inside. Chen Jing has tried every possible method, but there is still no solution. As the birth took place, Yi Jing stood aside and watched. Then a green light flashed again, and the familiar electronic prompt sound rang again. Iris scan successful. Suddenly, a brightly lit passage appeared in front of everyone, connecting to the dark underground. "Quick! Let's go down and take a look, Xiaoxi should be inside." When Chen Jing saw that it was finally opened, she couldn't help feeling a little confused. She had just tried so hard to open it but failed. How did this girl do it? But now she didn't have time to think about this, and she hurriedly walked towards the passage below. "Xiao Shi! Xiao Shi! Where are you?" While walking, Chen Jing called Yi Shi's name and soon got a response. "Aunt Chen Jing, I'm here." Looking for Chen Jing's voice, Yi Shi quickly ran over. "Girl, you are so worried that your aunt is coming." Seeing that Yi Shi was safe and sound, Chen Jing couldn't help but hug her excitedly. "Oh, Aunt Chen Jing, Sister Jingjing, and Sister Xiaxia, please follow me." "Go inside?" After hearing this, Chen Jing couldn't help feeling a little confused, but Yi Jing and Yi Xia had already grabbed Yi Shi and walked away. "Wait for me. These kids." Chen Jing smiled unhappily and followed him up. Not long after walking, Chen Jing slowly felt that her vision began to become wider, and what was even more exaggerated was that the first thing that came into her sight made Chen Jing shiver all over. In front of her was a high platform made of crystal, and when she looked at the things on it, Chen Jing suddenly lost her composure. Imperial Seal. In an instant, Chen Jing trembled all over and was stunned. Call. Chen Jing was stunned for several seconds, took a deep breath, and forced herself to calm down. Chapter 66, Blue Dragon Flag. But then he looked up through the crystal table and saw those big words engraved under the jade seal. Mandated by heaven, may you live long and prosper. At this moment, Chen Jing's eyes trembled violently, and her brain felt blank. She rubbed her eyes in disbelief, and then confirmed it several times. Finally, Chen Jing felt a buzzing sound in her head, as if a thunder had struck the top of her head. This is the imperial seal. But hasn't it been lost? Chen Jing couldn't help but swallow her saliva. She didn't know how to describe what she saw. Afterwards, reporter Chen Jing walked forward, but stumbled again and almost fell to the ground. She was too naive, really too naive. She actually thought that having such an imperial seal was the best she could have. But seeing this scene, Chen Jing's face turned pale, her scalp instantly felt numb, and her body was covered with goosebumps. In front of me was a huge bronze tripod. Upon further inspection, I realized that it was one of the 9 tripods. This symbolizes the kingship of the 9 provinces and represents the glory destined by heaven. It is the supreme imperial instrument. But such a thing was lying quietly in front of her at this moment. Chen Jing even felt that she was still dreaming. This is really unreal. Even if archaeologists searched through ancient books, the final conclusion they came to is that the whereabouts of such things are unknown. But how did Yi Xian get such a thing? And it must be said that the 9 cauldrons in front of him were so well preserved that the quality was excellent. What the hell are these things? Chen Jing shuddered again, not knowing what to say. If this was someone else's thing, in someone else's place, she would probably think it was fake, a modern handicraft. But this is in Yi Xian's home after all. Would such a person keep a fake item so well? Chen Jing stood there in a daze for a long time, but she didn't know that there were more things waiting to destroy her worldview. After calming down for a moment, Chen Jing continued to walk inside. On an antique wooden bookshelf in front of her, there was actually an original copy of the Yongle Encyclopedia. Going further, the original manuscript of Preface to the Lanting Poems is hanging on the wall in front. There were also some other antiques and jade artifacts, most of which were things Chen Jing didn't recognize. But as the secret passage became wider and wider, there were more and more things around. Chen Jing was numb at this time. Seeing new things, she no longer had the same surprised expression as before, but was still filled with shock. How could this be a collection completed by one person? Thinking and looking all the way, Chen Jing soon saw the place where several little girls gathered. Yi Jing and several other girls were currently surrounding a night pearl, with curiosity and admiration in their eyes. OMG! Chen Jing was already numb, but when she saw the night pearl shining brightly in the dark, she almost couldn't help herself. Next to the stone platform where the night pearl was placed, there was a small secret room. Several girls stayed beside the night pearl for a while and then ran into the small secret room. Seeing all the girls go in, Chen Jing had no choice but to follow them in. But as soon as she came in, Chen Jing saw a scabbard carefully placed. The scabbard looks natural as a whole, full of texture and traces of time, and there are dragon patterns carved on it. Seeing this, Chen Jing was a little confused. Why was there only one scabbard? Ah! What is this? While Chen Jing was still thinking, several little girls looked to one side and whispered in unison. Hearing the sound, Chen Jing also looked over, but was also shocked. At this moment, she seemed to see a green dragon shadow. But upon closer inspection, it was not a dragon shadow, but a green dragon flag. It's just that the embroidered blue dragon on the blue dragon flag is so lifelike, and so true to the Chinese people's yearning for the dragon. This is also the reason why Chen Jing saw it wrong at first glance. But to be precise, the things in this small secret room inside are really not as good as the things outside. But after reading all this, Chen Jing was even more shocked. What does it mean that there is only a scabbard but no blade? Chen Jing couldn't figure it out. Why should it be placed so carefully if there is no blade inside? And this lifelike blue dragon flag made her feel even more confused. Why was there such a flag for no reason? If Yi Xian hadn't asked these questions in person, Chen Jing would have understood that she would never be able to figure them out based on her own random thoughts. After seeing this place along the way, Chen Jing slowly sat down and took a breath, but still couldn't calm her shocked heart. Come on girls, let's get out. At this time, several girls were still wandering around, not treating this place as a secret room at all. But these are just a few little girls, they won't think too much. At most, these things will just make these girls feel curious and fresh, but they won't think there is anything great about them. Are we going out? Yi Shi blinked and looked at Chen Jing, seeming reluctant to leave. Okay, let's not stay here any longer. It's pitch black. Let's go upstairs and play. All right. The maids nodded obediently. Chen Jing did not waste any more time and quickly took the maids out. While walking outside, Chen Jing was silently telling herself that she must keep these things secret. After returning to the living room, Chen Jing pulled a few maids to her side, stroked the little girls' faces, and spoke seriously. Girls, you must remember what you saw today. You can't tell anyone else. Okay. Don't worry, Aunt Chen Jing. The girls nodded obediently while drinking yogurt. However, after a while, these girls acted very well, as if they had forgotten about it, and they ran, jumped, and played around. Chen Jing was also amused when she saw these girls playing and having fun, with a smile on her face. These girls are really careless. No matter how big the matter is, they won't care about it after a while. Then she looked towards the study, thinking about the things behind the bookcase. Her heart couldn't help trembling, and she murmured, "How many unknown secrets do the fathers of these children have?" At the same time, Yi Xian and Tang Hao were still on the plane to Tianjin, and were about to arrive at the airport. "Mr. Yi, we are almost there." The flight attendant next to her came over enthusiastically and reminded politely. Chapter 67, The Wang Family of Tianjin. Yi Xian nodded and waited calmly for the plane to land at the airport. Not long after that, Yi Xian and Tang Hao got off the plane. On the other side, a pair of eyes were fixed on Yi Xian's direction, with the little mouth slightly opened, full of curiosity and surprise. The one looking at Yi Xian was a little girl in cute clothes, who was probably only 7 or 8 years old. Her chubby little face looked extremely adorable, and her big watery eyes were always looking at Yi Xian. The girl next to the little girl was also stunned at this time. Then she looked at her daughter with a doting smile on her face, squatted down and asked gently, "Xiao Yun, what are you looking at?" But this little girl, even though she heard the voice, was still reluctant to take her eyes off Yi Xian. She stared at him closely and answered the girl's questions. "Mom, there's a handsome uncle over there." When the little girl said this, she turned around and looked at her mother curiously. "Mom, you always say that Dad is so handsome, but how handsome is Dad?" When Wang Xinyao heard Yi Yun's words, a hint of disappointment flashed in her eyes. She picked up Yi Yun and said softly, "Xiao Yun, your dad is a great hero, and he's also the most handsome man Mom has ever seen." "Oh." Yi Yun opened her little mouth and agreed in a baby voice. As they were talking, Wang Yiyu walked over here. When she saw Yi Yun's expression, she immediately became curious. Yi Zi next to her looked at Yi Yun, blinking his eyes, with a face full of questions, and then asked a question. "Hey, what's wrong, sister?" Wang Xinyao looked at the two of them, smiled helplessly, and gently poked Yi Yun's little head. "Hey! This girl is obsessed with looking at handsome guys." When Wang Yiyun heard this reason, she couldn't help but smile. "Let's go check in later and find a place to stay." Wang Xinyao pursed her lips slightly and looked at Yi Zi and Yi Yun. "Okay." The two girls nodded obediently, and Wang Xinyao then looked at Wang Yiyu. "By the way, Yiyun, I need you to help take care of these two little guys for the next 2 days." Wang Yiyu stroked Yi Zi's little head and nodded heavily. "Okay, but do you want me to accompany you to Wang's house?" Seeing Wang Yiyu's worried look, Wang Xinyao knew why and waved her hand. "No, this time I go, I mainly want to find out the whereabouts of my parents." Wang Yiyu didn't say anything and nodded again. Looking at the familiar Wang Xinyao in front of him at this moment, Wang Yiyun's mind was instantly filled with a myriad of thoughts. Wang Xinyao was born into the Wang family, one of the big families in Tianjin. They had a happy family and were the envy of many people. But one day, Wang Xinyao's parents left a letter and a bank card and disappeared without a trace. For so many years, there has been no news. Later, her best friend also worked hard and went abroad to study, which led to her current development. But even after so many years, Wang Xinyao still did not give up looking for her parents. However, their news was like a stone sinking into the sea, and ultimately ended in vain. Thinking of this, Wang Yiyun remembered the little girls of her best friend. Perhaps it was because of this that she resolutely gave birth to them and raised them by herself. As one of the people closest to Wang Xinyao, she also deeply understands how difficult it is for Wang Xinyao. "Okay, then you have to be careful this time when you go." Wang Yiyan looked at Wang Xinyao, who was a little tired but very stubborn, with a complicated expression and patted her shoulder gently. "Evian, don't worry, there will be no problem." Wang Xinyao smiled easily and pulled Yi Yun and Yi Zi into her arms again. "You two girls, Mommy has to do some things these days, you must listen to Auntie Yun." The two girls were also very well behaved. Although they wanted to follow their mother, they were also worried about whether they would cause trouble to their mother, so they nodded. Mom! Don't worry, we will listen to Auntie Yun and wait for you to come back. Yi Yun pulled Yi Zi, looked into Wang Xinyao's eyes, and promised with a smile. You're such a good mother's baby. Wang Xinyao felt warm in her heart and kissed the two girls on the cheek. Afterwards, Wang Xinyao gave the two little girls a few more instructions and then handed them over to Wang Yiyu. Yiyun, I'll leave these two little guys to you. Wang Xinyao held the two girls' hands and solemnly handed them to Wang Yiyu. Well, don't worry, I'll take them to find a place to stay. Wang Yiyu took the two girls and waved to Wang Xinyao. Goodbye, Mom. The two girls also smiled and waved goodbye to Wang Xinyao. Bye, babies. Wang Xinyao smiled and watched the two girls slowly disappear from her sight. Afterwards, Wang Xinyao sighed, left here, and headed towards her destination this time. Time passed quickly, and after a while, Wang Xinyao arrived at her destination. Looking at the small manor formed by the Wang family's villas in front of her, Wang Xinyao couldn't help but fall into deep thought. These several villas in a row are among the best lands in Tianjing. And the Wang family's villa is even more dazzling. In the center of these villas is a large villa, which makes the surrounding villas seem smaller. But in front of this villa, it can be said to be as luxurious as it can be. The golden lion at the door was looking up and staring angrily, as if spying on anyone with ulterior motives who dared to approach here. The villa has good greenery. Overall, it looks like these villas of the Wang family are located in the fields, and even the air is incredibly fresh. As one of the major families in Tianjing, the Wang family also has considerable appeal in Tianjing. Of course, this is all achieved through several generations of management by the Wang family. Most of the Wang family are engaged in business, but now, some younger generations have entered the entertainment industry, or are engaged in finance, etc. What is the same is that, with the support of the huge Wang family, these young men are successful no matter what they do. Finally, I'm back. Looking at the villa, Wang Xinyao's thoughts were gradually pulled back to her mind, and she then walked into the villa. As Wang Xinyao walked inside, more and more people came and it started to get lively. Many people were stunned when they saw Wang Xinyao, and then a hint of disgust appeared in their eyes, and they were also whispering about it in private. Chapter 68 Tear Your Mouth. Isn't this Wang Xinyao? She actually has the nerve to come back. Ha, I feel sick when I see people who disregard the interests of their family. Come on, we have already drawn a line between ourselves and her. There is nothing more to say. You know, although Wang Xinyao relied on herself to study abroad, the Wang family still arranged a marriage for her. The other party is also a member of Tianjing's family and has a high status in the family. Originally everyone thought this was a good thing, and the Wang family was also very happy. They were ready to use this marriage as a starting point to join forces with the other party. But later, when Wang Xinyao came back from abroad with a big belly, the news got out, and the good thing turned into a bad thing. I remember that at that time, the other party came directly to make trouble, and the two sides broke up directly because of this matter. The Wang family was even vaguely suppressed by the other party. It was precisely because of these things that most of the Wang family members were very hostile to Wang Xinyao, and it was also the reason why Wang Xinyao was expelled from the Wang family and ran away with the baby. Now that I'm back, if I think these people will give me any good looks, of course not. Of course, Wang Xinyao didn't care about these things. He came here today just to ask about the whereabouts of his parents. Afterwards, Wang Xinyao walked towards the main villa amid the pointing and talking of the Wang family members around her. In front of the main villa, there was a middle-aged man standing there, dressed in a suit and tie, with an extraordinary demeanor. Although his hair had turned slightly gray, it was well maintained. Coupled with his aura of majesty without even being angry, he looked even more extraordinary. When Wang Xinyao saw the middle-aged man, her eyes lit up and she walked over. Uncle, I have something to ask Grandpa. Uncle Wang Fengming looked at her and answered calmly. Your grandpa is taking a rest. See you at the annual meeting tomorrow. After saying this, Wang Fengming's eyes softened a little and he continued to ask. By the way, you just came back, right? Wang Xinyao smiled and nodded without saying anything. Now the younger generations are still drinking tea in the small pavilion over there. You should go meet them first. Good. Wang Xinyao agreed and then walked to the other side. The pavilion and waterside pavilion were not far from here, and Wang Xinyao quickly walked over to the location. Many people have gathered here, and everyone looks well dressed. Men wear suits and ties, and women wear elegant dresses. Even after Wang Xinyao came over, many people still sat down immediately. Some of them were not from the younger generation of the Wang family and were dressed much more conservatively. When everyone saw Wang Xinyao coming, they were all stunned, but then they turned their faces away and ignored Wang Xinyao. Wang Xinyao looked at the leader, a man in his 20s, and greeted him politely. "Brother." Wang Lin heard the voice, glanced at Wang Xinyao, then sighed and said, "Take a seat." But as soon as Wang Lin finished speaking, a young man from the Wang family stood up. Etc. This made Wang Xinyao, who was about to sit down, pause slightly, and then stood up again. "Brother, Wang Xinyao was expelled from our Wang family by name. This doesn't seem right." As he spoke, the young man glanced at Wang Xinyao with contempt, and curled his lips, revealing a hint of disdain. "Those who are seated here today are either from our Wang family or the young masters and young ladies of Tianjing. I wonder which category Wang Xinyao belongs to." In an instant, everyone's face was filled with contempt, even the young masters and young ladies of Tianjing. Wang Lin couldn't help but pause when looking at this scene, and then he glared at Wang Kai, who had just spoken. But Wang Kai didn't care and was unwilling to give in. But just when the atmosphere was extremely tense, a girl nearby stood up and looked at Wang Kai. "Wang Kai, don't go too far. When third uncle left, the bank card he left for Xinyao was held by your family, wasn't it? I'm afraid you have swallowed up all the money in there. Are you still acting like this here with a clear conscience?" Wang Kai couldn't help but get angry when he heard this. He slammed the table and pointed at Wang Yao and said angrily, "Shut up, the money in the bank card is what they owe us." Suddenly, Wang Yao, who had just spoken, sneered and said to Wang Kai unhappily, "How dare you say that? Don't you know what's going on? You are still talking to Xinyao like this, don't you think you are unworthy?" At this time, veins on Wang Kai's face popped out. He stared at Wang Yao and shouted hysterically, "Wang Yao, I advise you not to meddle in other people's business. What does this have to do with you? Don't be a good guy here. It was the old man who did it." Quiet. Just as the argument between the two sides became more and more intense, Wang Lin suddenly shouted, "Look at you guys, what has become of you?" Only then did Wang Kai and Wang Yao calm down. Wang Kai was so angry at this time that he was gasping for breath. He sat in his seat and took a big gulp of tea. Now that things were quiet, Wang Lin looked at Wang Xinyao again, but there was still no good look in his eyes. "Take a seat." But at this time, Wang Xinyao did not choose to sit down, but looked at Wang Kai coldly. "Wang Kai, listen to me. Let's make it clear today. Our family doesn't owe your family anything. Your family does owe us a lot, but I'm too lazy to go through these old debts. But..." Having said that, Wang Xinyao's eyes became colder and her tone became more straightforward. "If you dare to slander my parents and our family in front of me again, and jump up and down here, I promise that I will tear your mouth apart." When these words were spoken, everyone present was stunned. "You guys should drink the tea yourself. I don't need it." Finally, Wang Xinyao said something and turned around and walked away. Everyone was staring at each other in shock. No one knew what medicine Wang Xinyao had taken wrongly. How dare she do such a thing? Who do you think you are? How dare you treat me like this? After a while, Wang Kai reacted and became furious, cursing non-stop. "That's enough. Isn't it messy enough?" Wang Lin shouted again, interrupting Wang Kai. Wang Kai sat in his seat. Although his face was still distorted by anger, he stopped talking. Wang Lin sighed, turned his head to look at Wang Xinyao, who was walking away, and his face became even gloomier. Chapter 69 Billionaire Building King. The next morning, Yi Xian changed into a tight-fitting dress, and his whole demeanor changed completely. At this moment, Yi Xian exuded an air of elegance in every gesture. Coupled with Yi Xian's golden ratio figure and handsome face, he is full of vigor and vitality and attracts everyone's attention. At this time, Tang Hao also changed into a black suit. "Okay, let's go." Yi Xian looked at the preparations and nodded to Tang Hao. "Yes." Soon after, the two men walked out of the room, got into the car, and Tang Hao stepped on the accelerator and sped forward. On the other side, in Villa number 2 of Tianlan Mansion, Lin Yuhan was called up by his wife. "Don't sleep. There's someone in Villa number 1 across from us." "What?" Hearing this, Lin Yuhan, who was still rubbing his eyes and yawning, suddenly lost his sleepiness. He shuddered and was stunned. Then he thought about it. The corner of Lin Yuhan's mouth twitched violently. "This matter is not simple. the Tianlan Mansion can be said to be the most luxurious residential area in the entire Tianjin, and Villa Number 1 is many times different from the others. It is truly extremely luxurious and worth tens of billions. In recent years, the owner of this villa has become more and more mysterious. After all, what kind of person could be able to afford such a 10 billion mansion and leave it vacant? Thinking of this, Lin Yuhan instantly jumped off the bed, walked to the window, and looked towards the villa opposite through the floor-to-ceiling window. However, at this moment, two people walked out of the villa. They were none other than Tang Hao and Yi Xian. After walking to the bottom of the villa, Tang Hao opened the car door and Yi Xian got in. Lin Yuhan, who was looking through the floor-to-ceiling window, was completely stunned. He stared blankly as Tang Hao drove away. Oh my god! This is Mr. Yi. What? Mr. Yi. At this time, the wife next to him was also stunned, and a look of shock broke out in her eyes. This Mr. Yi you are talking about, could it be the Mr. Yi who saved the old man? Yes. Lin Yuhan nodded heavily, still with a hint of disbelief in his eyes. It's unbelievable that this villa belongs to Mr. Yi. His wife, who was standing by, muttered something as she quickly found clothes for Lin Yuhan and handed them to him. Don't just stand there, get up and get dressed, then give the old man a call. Good. Lin Yuhan also realized the seriousness of the matter at this time, so he put on his clothes, walked aside and made a phone call. The old man on the other side was writing leisurely at this moment. He was calm and focused. But at this moment, Lin Yuhan called. Dad, something happened here. What's wrong? Hearing Lin Yuhan's anxious voice, old man Lin Shang frowned and continued to ask. I saw Mr. Yi here. What? Suddenly, Lin Shang's hand trembled violently, and the calligraphy he was writing was ruined, but Lin Shang didn't even look at it and walked straight outside. Hurry up and prepare the car. Mr. Yi is coming to Tianjin. We must show our hospitality as hosts. Lin Shang knew very well that although Mr. Yi said that he didn't like being disturbed, it would be too unreasonable for them not to go. Thinking about this, Lin Shang did not delay any longer and quickly prepared the car to set off. At this time, at the Wang family villa, the annual meeting has officially begun. In this annual grand event of the Wang family has made sufficient preparations and is mobilizing the entire power of the Wang family to hold a grand banquet for all. Now the entire Wang family villa estate is filled with an unprecedented grand scene. At the entrance of the villa, there are rows of luxury cars parked. These luxury cars are truly luxury cars and are definitely not comparable to cars worth hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. The Wang family is one of the top families in Tianjin, and the guests they invite are no ordinary ones. Moreover, no one wants to lose face at such a banquet, so they all drive the best cars. In other words, even if they don't have luxury cars to show off, these people have to save face even if they have to rent a car in order to attend such a party. At the same time, many people in suits and ties walked into the villa one after another. Most of these people were foreign guests. But the same thing is that each of these people is an extraordinary being. They are either from various families or high-ranking officials in Tianjin. For a family like the Wang family, most aristocratic families would shamelessly try to make friends with them, hoping to get a real big shot in the arm. As for the other big families in the Wang family, they all take care of each other's face, so they have to attend such events. Well, it's really nice, and it's quite impressive. That's great. After all, this is the Wang family, and it's also the annual meeting. We won't neglect it. Not only that, this time, it's also the old man's birthday. At this time, several middle-aged men in suits and ties, with extraordinary demeanor, walked towards the entrance of the villa while greeting each other. Hey, we old friends are able to meet each other through this opportunity. How are you doing recently? While walking and chatting, a middle-aged man with slicked back hair and a briefcase asked with a smile. It's okay. We are all about the same anyway. Although it's not as good as the Wang family, it's still pretty good. Ah, Brother Du is quite confident. I heard that your company's stock has soared recently. Luck. Luck. Several people were talking and chatting like this, but when they reached not far from the door, they all stopped. Look who this is. At this time, one of them saw Wang Fengming greeting guests at the door and a smile appeared on his face. Brother Zhao, it's you. At the same time, Wang Fengming also noticed several people walking towards this side. He was stunned for a moment, and then walked over excitedly. Oh my, what kind of wind is this that actually blew all of you here? Ha ha ha. Wang Fengming was obviously acquainted with several of them, and they exchanged a few pleasantries. Brother Wang, we came here this time because we were invited to attend the annual meeting. By the way, we came here to celebrate the old man's birthday. Great, everyone, please follow me in. I'll be your tour guide. Wang Fengming laughed, and the others didn't hesitate to go in and celebrate the birthday of the old man of the Wang family. Just as the few people entered, Wang Xinyao also arrived at the door of the Wang family's villa. Chapter 70 I forgot. The only difference is that Wang Xinyao came here by taxi, which seems a bit out of place in this place where luxury cars are everywhere and Mercedes-Benz and BMW are not as good as dogs. Wow! What is this place? The taxi driver looked at the scene in front of him, the corners of his mouth twitched, and he began to wonder in his heart. This scene was really beyond his imagination. The luxurious things around seemed to be incompatible with him and the entire car. It looked extremely incongruous. Through the rearview mirror, the driver saw Wang Xinyao's calm expression in the back seat, and her eyes seemed to have changed in an instant. This look is complex and firm, cold and bright. At first glance, you can tell that this is a living, strong woman. The driver took a deep breath when he saw this scene, and thought secretly in his heart, this girl must be from a wealthy family. Not to mention anything else, looking at all the magnificent things around her, this girl's expression didn't change at all, and there was even a hint of disdain in her look. Even if we don't say all this, just looking at this girl's temperament and demeanor, it's not something that ordinary people can have. Thinking of this, the driver's eyes revealed a hint of surprise. If this girl had such a status, why would she come here in his taxi? Is this a strange habit of rich people? Or, running out to experience life? However, just as the driver's mind was surging with thoughts, many people around him also saw the taxi. They were stunned and looked at each other in amazement. They all rubbed their eyes and could not believe that this was actually true. Afterwards, after confirming again that this was a real scene, people began to criticize this matter. Who on earth is this? This is such an insult to the Wang family. There's actually a taxi in a place like this. Whose people are they? Are they here to cause trouble? I think so. Everyone comes here in a luxury car. It would be fine if he didn't drive a luxury car, but he actually took a taxi. This is really too much. Suddenly, many people started talking, but soon, the people who had gathered to watch dispersed and their attention shifted to Wang Kai, who was coming from behind. What are you doing? Why are there so many people gathered here? Wang Kai looked at everyone in confusion, then turned his head and saw a taxi parked on the side, and was stunned. He couldn't believe that a shabby taxi would appear in such a place. Who is this? He even took a taxi to get here. He really has no shame at all. Wang Kai immediately cursed in his heart and looked at him with a slightly angry expression. Many people nearby also saw Wang Kai's unfriendly expression and did not dare to speak. Where did this taxi come from? Seeing that the people around him were silent, Wang Kai asked loudly. And everyone can see that Wang Kai obviously doesn't look very happy now. I don't know about that, but I think that the fact that a car like this drove here is probably a misunderstanding. No child would make such a mistake. As the first person said this, the people around him began to echo him. Yes, Brother Wang, I'm afraid this is the wrong way to go. This guy really has no sense at all. He actually dares to stop here. Even the echoes from the people around him could not extinguish Wang Kai's anger. The more Wang Kai looked at the parked taxi, the angrier he became. He almost exploded with anger. He didn't even bother to look at the other people around him. He just walked aside and called a few security guards. Are you all blind? Can't you see there are inferior people here? Go and drive them away. This is our Wang family's annual party, the old man's birthday, and you let this kind of guy in. What are you doing here? The security guards looked at Wang Kai's angry expression, all lowered their heads and apologized repeatedly. Sorry, Mr. Wang, we didn't notice. Master Wang, we'll be there soon. Let this taxi go right away. Without further ado, the security captain wiped his sweat, waved his hand, and prepared to take a few security guards with him. They are very clear about the weight of the Wang family. If this matter is not handled properly, the consequences will be disastrous. But just as the security guards were about to go over, Wang Xinyao got out of the taxi. When the people behind her saw this scene, they were all slightly stunned. Then, someone recognized Wang Xinyao and opened his mouth in surprise. This is the daughter of the third master of the Wang family. Yes, I recognized her. This is the daughter of the third master of the Wang family. Her name is Wang Xinyao. When the security guards heard that this person was from the Wang family, they immediately stopped. This was someone they dared not to provoke, so they immediately stood aside. Among the crowd, some people remembered what happened in the past and frowned instantly. I remember that she seems to have long been no longer a member of the Wang family, and I don't know where the third master has gone. This is true, but we'd better not mess with this person. No problem. A lean camel is bigger than a horse. Who knows what kind of trouble you will get into if you provoke such a person? All of a sudden, these people stopped discussing this matter and looked at Wang Xinyo with a respectful distance, watching her slowly walk towards them. When Wang Kai saw that the person coming was actually Wang Xinyo, his face suddenly froze and he started cursing in his heart. It never ends. It's so unlucky to have such a fellow. Afterwards, Wang Kai looked at Wang Xinyo, who was alone, curled his lips, and said softly, "This is indeed an inferior person." After saying that, Wang Kai walked towards Wang Xinyo, looked at her with contempt, and said coldly, "Wow! You really dared to come. And you came alone. Wonderful! Wonderful!" Even though this guy spoke in a sarcastic tone, Wang Xinyo remained calm and glanced at Wang Kai slightly. Disgust rose in the corners of his eyes. "This doesn't seem to be any of your business." He. Wang Kai chuckled softly and then continued. "What do you mean it's none of my business? If someone like you comes here, isn't that a disgrace to our Wang family? As a member of the Wang family, this kind of thing is naturally related to me. It's my responsibility." As he was talking, Wang Kai deliberately slapped his head, but the smile on his lips became more disdainful. "Oh. I forgot, you seem to have not been a member of my Wang family for a long time." Chapter 71 Slap. "But I ask you to open your eyes and look around you." Wang Kai's tone suddenly became agitated again. He pointed at the luxury cars around him and glared at Wang Xinyo in front of him. "Look carefully. Everyone who came to the banquet today drove a luxury car. If you don't have one, can't you rent one? This is really a slap in the face of our Wang family." Having said this, Wang Kai's tone was full of sarcasm and disdain, and the others behind him saw this and began to echo him. "Humph! You dare to come here in a taxi and say you are a member of the Wang family. You are bringing shame to the Wang family. It's more than embarrassing. I think it's great. It takes a crazy amount of courage to ride a bicycle to attend such a grand event. Ha, you didn't take a taxi, you must have shared a car." Suddenly, everyone present began to mock Wang Xinyo. Wang Kai clapped his hands with a sneer and looked at Wang Xinyo. "Well, I'm not the only one who's prejudiced against you. People like you can be seen clearly by everyone. Roll." The sarcasm from Wang Kai and many others did not change Wang Xinyao's expression. She remained as cold as ice and glared at Wang Kai fiercely. "Ah! How dare you!" In an instant, Wang Kai was furious and wanted to tear Wang Xinyo apart. You know, he was the one who usually yelled at others, who would dare to be arrogant to him. "You!" Just as he was about to continue speaking with his eyes wide open, Wang Fengming on the side saw the situation here and walked over here. "What's going on?" Wang Fengming walked closer and saw Wang Xinyo standing in front of him. He immediately understood everything. "You are here, come in and wish the old man a happy birthday." Wang Fengming spoke lightly to Wang Xinyo, then glanced at Wang Kai and continued. "Well, I'll take you in with me." "Okay, thank you, uncle." Wang Xinyo nodded and walked inside with Wang Fengming. "Humph. You're lucky." Seeing Wang Xinyo getting farther and farther away along with Wang Fengming's back, Wang Kai snorted coldly, and without further delay, followed her inside. Many dignitaries also went into the villa at this time, all preparing to celebrate the old man's birthday. As time passed, there were fewer and fewer people at the door, and most people went into the villa. When almost everyone had entered, a luxury car stopped in front of the villa in the distance, and then Yi Xian and Tang Hao got out. After the two of them came down, they didn't waste any time and headed towards the Wang family's gate. The security inside saw Yi Xian and the other man getting out of a luxury car, and without saying anything, they let them pass immediately. As the two walked inside, Yi Xian looked at the Wang family's luxurious mansions, curled the corner of his mouth and smiled coldly. This Wang family is really magnificent. When Tang Hao beside him heard this, he frowned slightly and looked at Yi Xian. "Brother Yi, what happened to my sister-in-law back then?" "I see. Let's go in and take a look first." A hint of complexity emerged in Yi Xian's eyes, and then it disappeared, taking Tang Hao inside. At this moment, in the luxurious and spacious hall of the villa, one figure after another has begun to pay their respects to the birthday man. Old Master Wang Ji was sitting on a high platform at this time. He had a ruddy complexion. Although his hair on his temples was completely white, he still had the aura of a superior. With every gesture he makes, he exudes a sense of majesty and dominance without even showing any anger. The few people below were also dressed in suits, but they appeared very respectful and reserved in front of old man Wang Ji. Master Wang, we are the younger generation of the Wang family's side branch. This is the birthday gift we prepared for you. As they spoke, several people respectfully placed the birthday gifts they had prepared in advance in front of the old man. Mr. Wang, we all know that you like to drink tea. This is the best tea we carefully prepared for you. Please accept it. Old man Wang Ji glanced at the birthday gift, nodded slightly and agreed. I wish Mr. Wang good fortune as vast as the East Sea, a life as long as the southern mountains, and a long life. After presenting the birthday gifts, several people bowed deeply to Mr. Wang Ji and walked aside. At this time, Wang Xinyao was ready to step forward and go to celebrate the birthday after the Wang family. But at this moment, Wang Lin, the eldest brother among the younger generation, looked at Wang Xinyao indifferently and said seriously, Xinyao, there should be an order. First the Wang family, then the dignitaries. You should pay your respects after them. Having said this, Wang Lin still had no expression, as if he was talking to a stranger. After all, it was the old man who drove you out of the Wang family. Don't blame me for being cruel. Hearing this, Wang Xinyao nodded expressionlessly and stood aside. Wang Kai, who was standing next to him, saw the scene and heard what Wang Lin said, and immediately sneered again. Are you the only one here to celebrate the birthday? Don't those 5 little bastards know to come over? Over the years, our Wang family has suffered so much because of these 5 little bastards. Today is the old man's birthday, and those 5 little bastards didn't even come. How shameless. When Wang Kai said these 2 sentences, he didn't even realize how excessive his words were. At this time, Wang Xinyao was also completely furious, her fists were clenched tightly, and her whole body was shaking. And this trembling was not because of fear, but entirely because of extreme anger. But just as Wang Xinyao's expression suddenly changed drastically and she was furious and was about to walk towards Wang Kai was also stunned and then shouted in a low voice. What are you trying to do? What do you mean? Suddenly, the voice attracted the attention of many people nearby, and everyone looked over here. Even my uncle Wang Fengming noticed the situation here. He immediately frowned and walked over here, ready to stop this farce. Slap. But before they could finish their words, a voice from the side reached everyone's ears. This voice was filled with boundless chillness and the kind of absolute control that dominated everything. Even an old fox like Wang Fengming couldn't help but shiver when he heard this voice. Then, everyone looked in the direction where the sound came from, and saw Yi Xian and Tang Hao walking towards them in big strides. When everyone saw these 2 people, especially Yi Xian with cold eyes, they were all stunned. They looked at each other, not knowing what had happened. Chapter 72 What is this name? Wang Xinyao also looked at Yi Xian at this time. Almost in an instant, she recognized Yi Xian, and tears kept welling up in her eyes. Yi Xian also noticed Wang Xinyao, and slowly walked over, with a hint of joy and a hint of guilt in his eyes, and spoke softly. You've worked hard raising the children for so many years. From now on, I will take care of you. As soon as these words were spoken, the people around him understood everything. The people of the Wang family have finally seen clearly that Yi Xian is the wild man from that year. Bang! At that moment, when Wang Kai was about to speak, there was a snap. Ah! First, he slapped Wang Kai hard in the face, and while Wang Kai was howling miserably and angrily, Tang Hao grabbed him by the collar. Then, slaps came one after another on Wang Kai's face, and the slaps became louder and louder. This scene stunned everyone around. They all stood there in a daze, with deep shock in their eyes. No one had expected that something like this would happen in the Wang family's home ground, at the Wang family's celebration, at the birthday party of the old man of the Wang family. An outsider actually slapped the Wang family member in the face again and again. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, no one would believe it if they told them about it. At this moment, veins popped out in the Wang family members' chests and they immediately slammed the table. Presumptuous. At that moment, everyone was furious. The slaps were not only on Wang Kai's face, but also on the faces of everyone in the Wang family. The old man of the Wang family almost vomited blood. He slammed the table and stood up, his eyes filled with boundless hatred and anger. Where's the guard? Throw him out, quickly. Someone come quickly, get these two guys out. What are you guards for? Just stand there and watch. Then, amid the angry roars of the Wang family, the guards hurried over and walked straight towards Yi Xian. When the others saw this scene, they glanced at Yi Xian and talked about it. This is the price of being arrogant. Now it's time to watch a good show. I really miss you so much. This wild man who caused so many casualties to the Wang family actually dared to set foot in the Wang family. He must be in a hurry to reincarnate. Humph. He caused trouble in a scene like today. Just watch, this guy is finished. In fact, to some extent, there is nothing wrong with what these people say. After all, Yi Xian was too arrogant. He came to the Wang family and, without saying a word, slapped someone from the Wang family at the Wang family's annual meeting. Isn't this a slap in the face of the Wang family? How could the Wang family let such a guy go in front of so many people from the Wang family and so many guests? But things were not as people imagined. Just as the guards were about to approach, a noisy sound came from outside. Mr. Lin, you have recovered really well. You look a lot younger. Yes, Master Lin has been in good health after not seeing him for a few days. God bless Mr. Lin. His mental state is so good now. As the sounds outside got closer, many respectful voices followed. At this moment, many dignitaries surrounded Lin Shang, and they were very respectful to old man Lin Shang. The same goes for Patriarch Lin. He seems to be full of energy and spirit recently. Nonsense, Patriarch Lin Yuhan is in his prime. I think Patriarch Lin's future achievements are probably immeasurable. Not only to Lin Shang, these dignitaries were also flattering Lin Yuhan crazily. After all, whether it is Lin Yuhan or Lin Shang, they are characters they need to look up to. As the sound got closer, in full view of everyone, Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan walked in surrounded by a group of dignitaries. Seeing the tense situation inside, these dignitaries were a little confused and walked and talked at the same time. What's going on here? Why is it so lively? Someone is being presumptuous here. Hearing the voice, a middle-aged man from the Wang family in front said in a cold tone. You dare to come to my Wang family's territory and make trouble, it seems you don't want to live anymore, right? Guard, don't just stand there. And at this moment, Lin Shang glanced and saw Yi Xian standing there without saying a word. For a moment, Lin Shang was completely stunned, and the others who saw the scene were also confused. Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan's expressions changed immediately. The two men suddenly took a few steps forward, first looked at the people in the hall, then looked at Yi Xian, and finally the guard who was about to step forward, who understood a little and immediately shouted angrily. What are you planning to do to Mr. Yi? As they were talking, Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan stood in front of Yi Xian to protect him, forming a confrontation with the guards in front of them. But in this case, everyone couldn't understand. This was the head and old man of the Lin family. Why would he do such a thing? Not to mention that this is on someone else's territory. Even if you know Yi Xian, there is no reason for you to do such a thing. While everyone was confused at this moment, they also felt it was too shocking. This series of events happened without any signs at all. What on earth is going on? What do the Lin family's patriarch and the old man mean? It seems that this time, the Wang family's birthday party and Mr. Wang's birthday party are destined to be restless. But the Lin family seems to have no reason to do this. This is an outsider. People were talking about it for a while, and their minds were full of questions. The Wang family was also confused at this time. Why did their Lin family want to protect Yi Xian? This really surprised them. After all, what were the identities of Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan? Moreover, the overall size of the Lin family is larger than that of their Wang family. At this moment, the air at the scene seemed to freeze, and everyone's face was filled with disbelief. What happened in such a short moment was simply unbelievable. Even the Wang family found it difficult to digest the reasons behind it. And then, everyone started to get a little scared. Who is this person? Why does even the Lin family want to protect him so much? I'm not sure, but judging from what he said to Wang Xinyao just now, he should be the man behind Wang Xinyao. TSK, this is too amazing. Not only did he come here alone, but he also has the support of the Lin family. People were watching the excitement and started discussing it, but at this time, someone discovered something wrong. Wait. Did you notice how the old man of the Lin family and the head of the Lin family addressed this man just now? Chapter 73, Former 5-Star Dragon School, Tang Hao. Suddenly, everyone around was attracted by these words, and after thinking about it for a while, they were also surprised. My God, these two characters actually called this man Mr. Yi, and stood in front of him. Does this man's identity mean he's even more terrifying than the Lin family? For a time, a sensational statement spread out, and everyone thought that Yi Xian's identity was definitely not simple, and they were secretly worried about the Wang family. While the Wang family was watching this, although they were hindered by the Lin family, seeing Wang Kai with blood dripping from his mouth and a swollen and purple face, Wang Ji, who was sitting at the top, couldn't help but stand up and look at Lin Shang. Mr. Lin, this person came to interrupt our Wang family's annual meeting and slapped a member of our Wang family without saying a word. Everyone saw it with their own eyes. I can give up my old face, but the face of my Wang family's ancestors cannot be insulted. Besides, I can't afford to lose it. Afterwards, Wang Ji waved his sleeves and stopped talking. Instead, he looked at Lin Shang meaningfully. Everyone understood the meaning of this, which was roughly, we know that you are related to Yi Xian, but regarding this matter today, our Wang family cannot make any concessions. The dignitaries looked at this scene and felt a tense and murderous atmosphere. They were all silent, but their minds were still full of thoughts. But they all knew that they had no way of intervening in such matters. They could only watch with their eyes wide open to see how the situation would develop. No one could intervene. They didn't dare to mess with the Wang family, not to mention that this was on someone else's territory. And they even dared not mess with the Lin family. Everyone knew that. Looking at Wang Ji at this time, Lin Shang understood everything in his heart. He stared at Wang Ji with a smile and said boldly and firmly, "Sorry, if you want to touch Mr. Yi, you have to step over my Lin family first, and step over my half-buried body, Lin Shang." Wow! Once these words were spoken, they were so concise and to the point that everyone was immediately in an uproar. What's wrong with this old man Lin Shang? I've never heard of anything like this before. I was stunned. This was completely tying the Lin family and myself to this man. But I don't understand. Is this a gamble? Or is it a foregone conclusion? While everyone was discussing, Wang Ji's face at the side also became extremely gloomy. However, things always develop dramatically. At this moment, someone outside hurriedly reported, trotted to Wang Ji and spoke loudly. "Report to Mr. Wang, the second master Wang finally is back. Besides, second master he. But as he was speaking, he suddenly became speechless and his expression was still dull. What's wrong? Speak properly. Wang Ji waved his hand, signaling the man to say the rest of the words. Report. There is a gold star on the second master's shoulder strap. Boom. As these words were spoken, everyone went crazy. But he is a one-star dragon general. Wang Fengli actually became a one-star dragon general. It's really incredible. This is something no one has ever thought of. Dragon general. Wasn't he only a 5-star dragon school before? How did he become a 1-star dragon general? Yeah, this happened too suddenly, and there was no news at all. For a moment, everyone found it difficult to accept this matter. Everyone was talking about it, and everyone was very confused. By the way, I heard that the Yanhuang military headquarters held a ceremony to award military titles a few days ago. I'm afraid it was at that time. Following one of them's answer, everyone around him suddenly understood. So that's how it is. This really comes so suddenly. But if that's the case, then wouldn't it be? Suddenly, everyone in the Wang family became excited. Now that their Wang family had one more dragon general, even if the Lin family wanted to help, they would have to think carefully. When Wang Xinyao heard this, she became even more worried. After all, Wang Fengli is Wang Kai's beloved son, and she is very clear about this. And Yi Xian went to move Wang Kai again, and now Wang Fengli has become the dragon general. With the addition of the Wang family, I'm afraid that the Lin family will be of little use. Thinking of this, Wang Xinyao gently pulled Yi Xian's clothes, her face full of worry, and spoke to Yi Xian in a soft voice. You should leave quickly. This Wang Fengli is the father of Wang Kai, whom you just ordered to slap. Now he has become a dragon general. It is too risky to stay here. Lin Yuhan and Lin Shang, who were standing by, also heard this and their expressions changed slightly. If a real falling out were to occur, the Lin family might not be able to defeat the Wang family, which is now even stronger. But then, the two of them swallowed their saliva and still stood where they were, refusing to move an inch. After all, Yi Xian had done them a great favor. This favor is greater than heaven, and you can't just run away when you encounter a little problem. Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan are already prepared to advance and retreat together with Yi Xian. At this time, Wang Fengli also walked in. Just as he was about to celebrate the birthday, he saw the scene inside and was immediately stunned. In front of him, Tang Hao was still grabbing Wang Kai's collar and slapping him hard on the face. At this time, Wang Kai's face was swollen like a pig's head, and blood kept coming out of the corners of his mouth. Although his life was not in danger, he was in a really miserable state. Wang Fengli looked at his son's appearance and heard the miserable voice, and his face turned gloomy in an instant. "Stop it! How dare you touch my son in the Wang family? Who are you? What do you do?" These words shocked everyone around. Everyone looked at the furious Wang Fengli and some of them couldn't help but tremble, feeling fear from the bottom of their hearts. After all, this is the Dragon General. The deterrence and oppression he brings is such a terrifying existence. But at this moment, a voice came from the side faintly. "It seems that you are so busy that you don't have time to educate your son. No problem, I will educate him, which is also a help to you." A sentence that is not meant to shock people is too hurtful. The people trembled and stuck out their tongues in surprise. This is too exciting. What kind of gods are these today? It seems like this is a fight between gods, no one is afraid of anyone else. But who is this guy? How dare he speak to General Long like that? How brave is he? Wang Fengli was even more shocked at this time. He really couldn't imagine who this person was and how he dared to be so arrogant in front of him. Then, Wang Fengli looked at Tang Hao, took in his aura, stature, and tremendous sense of power, narrowed his eyes, and said, "Are you a member of the Yanhuang military?" Tang Hao looked at Wang Fengli and answered calmly. Former 5-star Dragon School of the Southern Border Branch of the Yanhuang Military Department, Tang Hao. Swish! For a moment, everyone was shocked. 5-star Dragon School. The original 5-star Dragon School. There is no need to say more about what kind of identity this is. Chapter 70 for the Wang family is over. But even such a character is still serving others, so what kind of identity is this man here? At this time, not only everyone was shocked, even the people in the Wang family were shocked. And for some reason, their originally arrogant momentum suddenly dropped sharply. Seeing Yi Xian's indifferent look, as if he didn't take it seriously at all, everyone in the Wang family was even more frightened. Some of them even started to tremble uncontrollably. Horrible. It's really too horrible. You have to know that those who are in this scene are all big guys. But Yi Xian just stood there at this moment, and he didn't take anything around him seriously. The calmness in his eyes and the confidence he exudes are enough to prove how powerful he is. Even Wang Fengli opened his mouth wide. Not to mention others, he knew the most about the Yanhuang military. Among them, the Southern Xinjiang branch is the place with the strongest combat power in the entire Yanhuang military. The Dragon School there has long surpassed the status of dragon generals in other regions. And all this is because there is a true legend there, the god of war who guards the Yanhuang people. And the invincible iron-blooded force he personally brought with him. That man, with just a sword, could drive the enemy back thousands of miles away, making these ambitious guys completely give up their thoughts on China. In addition, there are many, many brilliant deeds. It can be said that his contribution to China is indescribable. It is beyond description. However, he didn't even go to the awarding ceremony a few days ago. He didn't even go to the ceremony to be awarded the 5-star Dragon General. This shows how unruly he is. He doesn't care about fame, fortune, or wealth at all. Wang Fengli was stunned for a moment. He knew very well that in the Yanhuang military, those who could reach the 5-star Dragon School at such an age were truly elites. They were all arrogant and proud people. He looked at Yi Xian again and found it even more incredible. Since he could control Tang Hao with ease, then what was his identity? However, while he was still guessing, a lot of vehicles came outside. Afterwards, middle-aged and old men wearing the uniforms of the Yanhuang army got off the car one after another. They all stood straight and looked heroic. After getting off the car, these people walked straight towards the Wang family villa. Those guards at the door didn't even dare to breathe, let alone stop them. They were not blind, so they could naturally see that the person who had just come was a person of extremely high status, and the golden stars on his shoulders were extremely shining. As these people walked inside, the leader was holding a small gift box solemnly in his hand. The gift box was extremely exquisite. Soon, these people came in a neat and orderly manner with big strides. Everyone was attracted by the movement and looked over here at the same time. But when they saw their epaulets at this time, these people were also shocked. Stunned. Completely stunned. At this moment, everyone's eyes were filled with shock like a raging storm. Even Wang Fengli was shocked when he saw this scene. He also knew these dragon generals. Especially the 4-star dragon general Lu Haikong, who was in the lead. He is the most powerful official in the country. That old general with his brilliant military achievements and great contributions is a recognized legend throughout the Yanhuang military. At that moment, Wang Fengli was about to go over to say hello, but before he could go over, Lu Haikong, holding a small gift box in his hand, spoke respectfully to Yi Xian beside him. General Yi Long, we are here to give you the epaulets. You didn't attend the ceremony to confer titles, but we must hand these epaulets to you. Boom! In just one moment and with just one sentence, everyone in the room was shocked. So many dragon generals are here to see you. The leading 4-star dragon general even uses the honorific title of you. What kind of identity is this? I'm cracked. It looks like the Wang family has hit a wall this time. That's right. This is simply the king descending to earth, so amazing. I can't imagine what kind of identity this person has that would make these people respect him so much. At this moment, even Wang Xinyo was completely stunned. However, those members of the Wang family were even more shocked. They just stared blankly with their eyes trembling. At the same time, Wang Fengli on the side looked at Yi Xian, his whole body was in a trance, and then he let out a loud shout. You are the 5-star dragon general, the leader of the southern Xinjiang branch, General Yi Long? God of War Yi. God of War Yi. For a moment, everyone was shocked and speechless again. The hairs on the Wang family's bodies stood up and they were sweating coldly. Some people were almost unable to stand. If there were no one holding them back, they would have stumbled and fallen to the ground. The old man of the Wang family, Wang Ji, was so frightened that his hands and feet went limp and his face turned pale. Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan looked at each other and took a breath of cold air. It seems that they still know too little about Mr. Yi. Wang Xinyao, who was beside Yi Xian, didn't know what this name meant, but it did not affect her knowing that this was an amazing title. Then, to everyone's astonishment, Lu Haikong opened the gift box, showed the epaulets, and handed it to Yi Xian. Yi Xian took it and stroked it gently a few times. At this moment, everyone was stunned and looked towards Yi Xian. The situation was reversed in an instant. At this moment, especially the people from the Wang family, they didn't dare to move at all. They were all waiting for Yi Xian's next words. But Yi Xian didn't say anything. Instead, he looked at Wang Xinyao. The meaning was very clear. This time, Wang Xinyao had to make the decision. Other dignitaries also understood what he meant and looked at Wang Xinyao, including members of the Wang family. The dragon generals were even more shocked and looked at Wang Xinyao. Wang Xinyao looked into Yi Xian's eyes, then looked at the people of the Wang family around her, and finally, she looked at old man Wang Ji above her. She was disappointed, but full of determination. I don't want to stay here anymore. I won't come back again. Just one sentence like this, the meaning is quite clear. In an instant, all the dragon generals had cold light in their eyes, staring at Wang Ji, who was sitting on the main seat of the Wang family. The attitudes of the dignitaries also changed in an instant. After all, they were not stupid. At this time, they must not stand on the wrong side. Looking at the eyes of these dragon generals, these dignitaries trembled and understood that this time the Wang family was really finished. Chapter 75. Wait until next time. Good. Yi Xian looked at Wang Xinyao's determined eyes and agreed softly. Let's go. Afterwards, Yi Xian turned around and left with Wang Xinyao. Tang Hao nodded slightly, threw Wang Kai aside, and had an intimate contact with the floor. Ah! The severe pain woke Wang Kai, who had just been slapped unconscious, up suddenly. At this time, his face had become completely deformed. It had become more than just a circle larger, and was covered in bruises and swelling. The blood that flowed from the corners of his mouth and nose had dried up, and the collar of his white shirt had been completely stained red. This is a very embarrassing situation. It doesn't look like a human being at all. In the lobby, after Yi Xian and the other two left, a group of dragon generals followed them, followed by dignitaries. In the end, only Wang Fengli, who was standing there in a daze, and the Wang family members who looked as pale as death were left. You evil beast, look at what you have done. After a slight pause, Wang Fengli looked at Wang Kai, who was slowly trying to stand up in front of him. His eyes were filled with anger, and he kicked Wang Kai to the ground again. It's all because of you. Now everything is fine. Are you satisfied? I told you before I left not to cause trouble outside, not to cause trouble, but you ignored your father's words. Wang Fengli looked very disappointed at this moment, and helplessly and angrily taught Wang Kai a lesson even though he was already in a terrible state. Then, his eyes turned bloodshot and he glanced at the Wang family members around him. He felt even more furious and spoke word by word. I have been away from home for several years. Why has the Wang family become like this? The Wang family is really finished. Hearing Wang Fengli's roar, the Wang family members were stunned. Fear arose in them. They all lowered their heads, not daring to look at Wang Fengli again. When Wang Kai heard this, his whole body began to tremble violently. He gently stroked his face, which was swollen like a pig's head, and realized how much trouble his previous words had caused. He actually called the daughters of a 5-star dragon general little bastards. Thinking of this, Wang Kai's body trembled even more violently, and his eyes were filled with boundless fear. And Mr. Wang on the high platform slumped down at this moment, and the whole person seemed to have aged 20 or 30 years in an instant. Outside, after the dignitaries left, they all understood the meaning of this. This was going to cut off the Wang family's livelihood. At this moment, even if they were given 100 times the courage, they would not dare to have any dealings with the Wang family. Then, they quickly made arrangements, took out their phones, and prepared to make their position clear, and immediately cut off ties with the Wang family. After a while, Wang's lobby. News kept coming in, various collaborations were cancelled, and there were even reports of suppression and declaration of war. The Wang family was in a panic at this time. The entire lobby was clearly full of people, but at this moment it was dead silent. A long time has passed, but there is still silence here, and everyone is standing there in a daze, feeling hopeless. Now all that's left is the constant reporting of bad news. The Lin family just terminated all economic cooperation with the Wang family. And they claimed that they will never cooperate again. Huaxia Bank announces the suspension of all business related to the Wang family. Report. Seeing this, the Wang family members finally understood what it meant to be like when the tree falls, the monkeys scatter when the wall collapses, everyone pushes it down. We must not panic. We will definitely be able to make a comeback. At the side, old man Wang Jiwang stood up and comforted the Wang family members present. Still making a comeback? You old man, do you know who's standing opposite you? He's a 5-star dragon general, the most powerful official in the country. He's a legend in the entire Chinese world. But the Wang family members around him didn't buy it at this time. They looked at Mr. Wang with contempt and started complaining. Aren't you awesome? Don't you have a lot of connections? Where are they now? Where are your helpers? Even so, you still want to make a comeback. This is simply the funniest joke I have ever heard. Hey, old man, please stop messing around, or you'll break all your old bones. You guys. You are so outrageous. You are unreasonable. Listening to the sarcasm and ridicule from the people around him, Mr. Wang suddenly became furious and was so angry that he didn't know how to speak. But at this time, he also knew that as the old man of the Wang family, a big family in Tianjin, his deterrent power was no longer there. At this time, let alone how others view him, even the Wang family members don't take him seriously. Even now, many side branches in the lobby are speaking out. Ha ha! You are the head of the Wang family. It is you, an old and dim-sighted fellow, who caused the Wang family to fall into such a fate. Yes, if you hadn't kicked Wang Xinyao out of the Wang family, this wouldn't have happened today. Ah! You old bastard, prepare your own coffin as soon as possible. Who will protect you when the time comes? Open your eyes and see who else can help us? Our Wang family is completely gone, and you, and Wang Kai just now, are the eternal sinners of the Wang family. All of a sudden, everyone left the place while cursing. The entire Wang family was falling apart at a speed visible to the naked eye. But in the first 2 hours, they were still a family with extremely strong cohesion and strength. This is really too ironic. It can be said that their entire Wang family has become a laughingstock after others have had their fill of food and drink. As Mr. Wang listened to the countless insults around him, he slumped down on the spot, as if he had aged 10 years. He now knows that the Wang family is completely gone. What is even more ironic is that this huge Wang family was destroyed in his hands. If he hadn't used Wang Xinyao as a tool for family marriage and hadn't driven her out. Thinking of this, regret rolled in the eyes of old man Wang. He looked at the empty lobby and muttered. The Wang family is gone, completely gone. At this time, Yi Xian and others had already walked outside, and several dragon generals stopped and looked at Yi Xian. General Yi Long, why don't we have a meal together later? Seeing this, the dignitaries around him also began to invite them one after another. Mr. Yi, we have admired you for a long time. Can we have a meal together? It is our blessing to be able to have dinner and chat with someone like you. I hope Mr. Yi can agree. Mr. Yi. At this moment, these dignitaries were as respectful to Yi Xian as they could be. Wang Xiniao looked at these big shots who usually just evaded and trembled in the capital, and now they were so respectful to Yi Xian. She couldn't help but feel that this was a little unreal. Thinking about Yi Xian's identity again, Wang Xiniao felt even more confused. This was really beyond ordinary people's imagination. Now, facing everyone's invitation, Yi Xian looked at them indifferently and shook his head slightly. Everyone, let's not do it this time. Let's wait until next time. Chapter 76. Why hasn't T-Mom come back yet? In a word, this was a matter that could not be disputed, and everyone stopped asking questions. Brother Yi, please wait a moment, I'll drive over right away. Seeing this, Tang Hao, who was standing by, hurried over and drove over. The several dragon generals standing aside were even more surprised when they looked at Tang Hao. After all, this guy was also a fierce general in the past. At that time, he had made great military achievements and was considered a benchmark figure in the entire Yanhuang military, an elite in the first echelon. Tang Hao had already reached the 5-star dragon school when he was 20 years old. Later, he followed General Yi Long in retirement. If he had not retired, he would have been at least a 2-star dragon general by now. At that moment, several dragon generals did not dare to put on airs with such a fierce man, and immediately looked at Tang Hao with a smile. Tang Lanxiao, how about you just drive our car? Then, the dragon general who was speaking pointed to the Hongqi L5 next to him. When Tang Hao heard this, he stopped, looked at the red flag beside him, and smiled slightly. All right. Then, Tang Hao agreed, took the key handed to him by the other party, and opened the car door. After Yi Xian and Wang Xiniao got in the car, Tang Hao stepped on the accelerator and sped forward. At this moment, only these few dragon generals and the dignitaries who had gathered together were left at the scene. The Wang family members who were walking out of the Wang family villa one by one saw this group of people and tried every means to avoid them, for fear of encountering these people head-on. These dignitaries were also shocked by what happened today, and then they made arrangements again, determined to handle this matter properly. If you can stand in line well, not only will you not suffer any losses this time, you may even gain unexpected gains. But if you stand on the wrong side, you may fall into the abyss if you are not careful, and end up in no return. As time passed, the news of this matter spread, and many dignitaries who did not come to the Wangjian Yanhua also knew about it. Is this true? At this moment, in the luxurious box of Tianjing Hotel, an old man in a suit and tie with white hair suddenly exclaimed, and a strong look of disbelief burst out in his eyes. The other people standing by had just heard about this incident, and each of them had a look of surprise on their face. It happened so fast. Who could have imagined this? Yes, this huge Wang family has become like this. Alas, it's all their own fault. There's nothing we can do. He provoked a 5-star dragon general from the Yanhuang military. This is already a death sentence. The dignitaries in the box were talking to each other. None of them attended the Wang family annual meeting. When they heard the news, no one could accept it for a while. After all, this is the dignified Wang family, and it was all over in just a short moment. No matter what, this is a family with deep roots and strong power in Tianjing. It is really unbelievable that it has fallen apart like this. Looking at the whole Tianjing, not only the people in this box were surprised, it was like a major earthquake, and many people knew about this matter. This really happened too quickly, so much so that many people did not believe it, but one by one, companies and families after another severed all ties with the Wang family. After seeing this, people had no choice but to believe it, because they all knew that the Wang family was really finished. However, when there was a storm outside, Yi Xian and Wang Xiniao in the car just remained silent. Wang Xiniao looked at Yi Xian from time to time, but didn't know how to start talking. She just looked at him, wanting to say something, but her throat seemed to be blocked. Looking at Yi Xian's angular face, her heart trembled suddenly. Considering his status, he must have suffered a lot over the years. Just when Wang Xiniao was about to speak, Yi Xian at the side leaned over to look first. You have suffered so much over the years. This is my fault. I will make it up to you and the girls in the future. Don't worry. Yi Xian's words were very serious, with a hint of guilt and tenderness in his eyes. Just these two sentences made Wang Xiniao's nose sore and she almost cried. Have you been doing well these years? Wang Xinyao sniffed, adjusted her mood a little, and then asked. Hearing this question, Yi Xian did not answer for a moment, but fell into deep thought. A trace of memories began to flow into my brain at this moment. Over the years, he has occupied land, fought against the financial group, and then fought against the enemy, holding the flag alone and driving the enemy back thousands of miles away. Although he has signed for so many years, his personality also determines that he is not a person who seeks pleasure. So over the years, it only happened that one time, but it just so happened that it was that time that these 5 cute and lively little ones were born. Thinking of this, Yi Xian showed relief and happiness on his face. He took a deep breath and answered slowly. Compared to ordinary people, my status is much higher, and I work much harder. But no matter how hard it was, it's very easy now. Wang Xinyao nodded, thought of her little angels, and said with a smile. That's good. These 5 little girls are all very cute. They miss you very much. Yeah, I know, Jingjing Xiaxia and Xiaoxi are both with me. Ah. Suddenly, Wang Xinyao exclaimed and looked at Yi Xian in disbelief. What is going on? At the same time, in the hotel, Wang Yiyu was walking around in the room, looking anxious and worried about Wang Xinyao's situation. It's already this late, why is there no news at all? Wang Yiyun pouted and complained. Her heartbeat was much faster at this moment. She was always worried about whether Wang Xinyao's trip to the family annual meeting would go smoothly. Yi Yun and Yi Zi, however, were now sitting obediently on the bed watching TV. Looking at Wang Yiyu, they asked in a baby voice. Auntie Yun, you've been spinning around so many times, aren't you dizzy? When Wang Yiyu heard Yi Yun's voice, she stopped and looked at the time. It was already noon. It's almost time now, let's go out for dinner. The 2 girls also felt empty in their stomachs at this time. When they heard Wang Yiyu calling them to go out for dinner, they nodded obediently. Good. Afterwards, Wang Yiyu led the 2 girls out of the hotel and prepared to take a taxi on the roadside to go out for dinner. But while I was still waiting for the car, a Porsche Panamera drove towards the hotel entrance. Chapter 77. I am just a DD driver. The driver was a 2nd-generation rich man who looked quite handsome, but there was a hint of vulgarity in him, especially in his eyes, which seemed to be shining all the time. It was extremely vulgar. The rich 2nd generation, with a cigar in his mouth, arrogantly turned the steering wheel towards the hotel, but suddenly saw Wang Yiyu who was waiting for the bus on the side of the road. In an instant, the Porsche trembled slightly, and the rich 2nd generation in the car stared with his eyes wide open. At this time, his pair of thief eyes were staring straight at Wang Yiyun, as if he was staring at his prey. TSK, this is simply the best. Looking at Wang Yiyu's angelic face and perfect figure, the rich 2nd generation fell for her completely. Speaking of Wang Yiyun, she is also a first-class beauty, with beautiful and generous appearance, mature and charming temperament, and this noble and elegant outfit, I am afraid that few men can resist. And this 2nd-generation rich man couldn't stop watching, with a lewd smile on his face, and he made up his mind that he must pick up this girl no matter what. Immediately, the rich 2nd generation drove a Porsche Panamera to Wang Yiyun, opened the car window, smiled, and started chatting her up. This beautiful lady, are you waiting for someone? Wang Xinyao glanced at this rich 2nd generation, and at first glance, she saw the frivolity in this guy's eyes, so she looked away and ignored the rich 2nd generation's approach. The rich 2nd generation was humiliated at this time, but instead of getting angry, he became more interested in Wang Yiyun. Beauty, how about this, let's go have a cup of coffee while we wait. I know a good place, how about you come and give me a favor? However, a hint of disgust quickly flashed across Wang Yiyun's eyes at this moment, and she immediately rejected the invitation from the rich 2nd generation. I'm sorry, I don't think we know each other. I'm afraid this request is a bit too much. Seeing this, Yi Yun and Yi Zi also looked at Wang Yiyu and gently pulled the corner of Wang Yiyu's clothes. Auntie Yun, where are we going to eat later? The rich young man was stunned at this moment, and when he lowered his head, he saw the 2 little guys. But the word auntie made him even happier. Otherwise, if Wang Yiyu were to officially become the mother of these 2 little girls, his interest would be greatly reduced. When the rich young man thought of this and looked at his car, he became more confident. He immediately concluded that Wang Yiyu refused his request because she was with 2 little girls, and continued. Beauty, you can leave these 2 girls at my friend's place first, and we can go out for a drink, how about that? You know, the first time I saw you in the crowd, I felt that we were destined to be together. To be honest, I may not have known what love at first sight was before, but today I finally know it. Your smile, your gestures, your temperament and posture are all unforgettable to me. I just want to have a drink with you, otherwise I will regret it for the rest of my life. This rich young man has put all his attention on Wang Yiyu at this moment. He is as enthusiastic as he can be. This method of his has always worked in the past. The girls were first attracted by his luxury cars, and then he said some ambiguous love words to them. It can be said that he easily won them over. At this time, the rich young man was confident that Wang Yiyu would agree to his request no matter what, and even had a smile of victory on his face. At this time, his mind was full of fantasies, thinking about how he should enjoy his spoils and which nearby hotel he should go to. But what he didn't expect was that Wang Yiyu not only didn't buy it, but took the two girls and took a few steps back, with disgust in her eyes that didn't need to be concealed at all. Sir, please respect yourself. I am not the kind of woman you think. At this time, Wang Yiyu said something and prepared to pull the two girls aside and stop pestering this guy. But the rich young man still refused to give in, so he got out of the car immediately, ready to talk again and try to get another chance. Just as he stopped Wang Yiyu with a grin and was about to continue chatting her up, a burst of noisy noises came from the side. The sound came suddenly and densely, and everyone's attention was directed to the side. At this time, many people were looking at the other side, all of them looked shocked, and all of them gasped. Oh my god, what kind of car is this? It has a license plate like that. Hiss. This really makes my scalp tingle. What the hell is going on? Big boss, absolutely big boss. One by one, people all burst into exclamations, and the scene immediately exploded. People started to discuss it one after another. Who is this person? He's driving a car like this? Just look at the license plate. It's a military license plate. The person sitting inside must be a big shot from the Yanhuang military. It's so domineering, this car is so domineering. Just like that, amid the exclamations of the people, the rich young man also looked over here, and Wang Yiyun's attention was also attracted over there. Suddenly, they were both stunned, especially the rich young man, whose jaw almost dropped and he said in disbelief. Hongqi L5. Oh my god. This is a car that only state guests and high-ranking officials are qualified to ride. When the rich young man saw the oncoming vehicle clearly, his body shuddered suddenly, his mouth opened wide, and his eyes were filled with deep regret. Auntie Yun, this car is so impressive and handsome. Look, Auntie, there's a little red flag on the car fluttering in the wind. Seeing the little girl looking at the red flag, she pulled Wang Yiyu's hand and pointed at the red flag and talked a lot. Although the rich young man was shocked, the car was none of his business. He still smiled flatteringly and wanted to continue chatting with Wang Yiyu. But at this moment, the rich young man saw that the car was actually rushing towards him, and he was immediately frightened. His nerves tensed up, and he dodged to the side, and immediately broke out in a cold sweat. Looking at the red flag parked in front of him, the rich boy was stunned and had no idea what was going on. Wang Yiyun was also stunned at this time. After the Hongqi car parked the car, Wang Xinyao actually got out. Mother! The two girls looked at Wang Xinyao, who was walking towards them with a smile, shouted excitedly, and threw themselves into Wang Xinyao's arms. But this word mom almost scared the rich boy to death. Although he was somewhat of a rich second generation in Tianjing, compared with the figures in the Yanhuang military, he was simply nothing. Not only him, Wang Yiyan also hadn't reacted at this time. She stared blankly at Wang Xinyao, who was waving at her in front of her. Afterwards, Yi Xian also walked down the red flag, his whole body filled with indescribable momentum. Yi Xian was wearing a well-fitting dress at this time, and he looked noble and elegant. Coupled with Yi Xian's strong muscles, the dress looked extremely domineering. However, Yi Xian's eyes, filled with an air of indifference towards everything, fell on the rich young man and took a glance at him, causing the rich young man to tremble all over and almost collapse to the ground. Who are you? Faced with Yi Xian's question, Fu Xiao was completely frightened. He immediately lowered his head, not daring to look Yi Xian in the eyes again, and spoke in a trembling voice. I drive a Didi, so I came over to ask this lady and two kids if they want to take a Didi. As the rich young man spoke, he swallowed his saliva, fearing that Wang Yiyu beside him would directly expose what he had just done. When he saw that Wang Yiyu didn't say anything, he continued. It just seems that it's not necessary now. I'll leave first. Afterwards, the rich young man said no more and quickly got into the car. Even after getting into the car, the rich young man's legs were still shaking. He stepped on the accelerator with 1 foot deep and 1 foot shallow, not knowing where to go. But he also knew that he couldn't stay here any longer. Now his back was completely soaked with cold sweat, and he looked listless, as if his soul had been taken away. On this side, Yi Yun was also looking at Yi Xian, and suddenly she jumped up and down with excitement. Ah! It's the handsome uncle from that day. Chapter 78. Who is that? When Wang Xinyao heard this, she was also stunned. It turned out that Yi Yun was talking about Yi Xian that day. Afterwards, Wang Xinyao squatted down, looked at the two girls, then looked at Yi Xian beside her, and said gently, "Xiao Yun, Xiao Zi, this is your dad." Dad. Suddenly, the two girls were shocked and repeated the same sentence in unison. When they saw their mother nodded seriously, they were completely stunned. Time seemed to have frozen. The two girls just stared at Yi Xian stupidly. Their eyes turned red and tears as big as beans flowed out. In this situation, the two girls could no longer suppress their longing for their father, and rushed towards Yi Xian together. Yi Xian also squatted down, hugged the two girls in his arms, and let the two girls' tears wet his clothes. After a while, Wang Xinyao smiled with relief, took out a handkerchief she carried with her, and wiped the tears of the two girls. Dad! Dad! The two girls laughed and sobbed, and called Dad happily several times. Wang Xinyao's eyes became red as she looked at the two girls' excitement, and at this moment, her cell phone rang. When she took it out and looked at it, it turned out to be a video call from Yi Jing. Wang Xinyao didn't hesitate and answered the call immediately. After the call was connected, three little heads appeared on the other side, looking at Wang Xinyao and smiling sweetly. Mother! The sound was so loud that Yi Yun and Yi Zi nearby also heard it. They looked over here and called out, "Is it my sister?" Wang Xinyao nodded slightly and simply handed the phone to them. The two took the phone, but Yi Shi poked out her little head, looked at Yi Yun and Yi Zi excitedly, and said excitedly, "Sister! We found Daddy!" Suddenly, Yi Jing rolled his eyes, looked at Yi Shi, and said with some blame, "Xiao Shi, didn't we agree that I would be the one to say it?" Then, Yi Jing looked at Wang Xinyao excitedly and talked incessantly. "Mom! Mom! We found Dad! We are all at Dad's place now. Dad's house is so big. Dad is so good to us. He buys us everything we want, and the meals he cooks are delicious." Wang Xinyao looked at the little girl's excitement. Yi Yun also turned the camera over, pointed it at Yi Xian, and said with a smile, "Sister, look, who is this?" "Dad!" Yi Jing and several other girls screamed immediately, then pouted and said to Yi Xian, "Oh! Dad, it turns out that you went to Tianjing to look for Xiao Yun and Mom, and you didn't tell us." Yi Xia also said with her hands on her hips and pouting her lips. "That's right. He didn't even take us with him. We're angry." Yi Xian looked at the three girls who were angry, smiled bitterly and shook his head, then hurried over to coax them with a few words. "Well, Dad has other things to do when he comes to Tianjin this time. It's not convenient to bring you along for these things. When Dad comes back, Dad will make it up to you. You can do whatever you want, okay?" Yi Xian coaxed them gently. The girls were not angry in the first place, but instead smiled. "Okay. By the way, Dad, when will you come back?" Yi Shi asked with some anticipation, hoping that her parents and sisters would come back soon. "Don't worry, we will be back in a few days." "Good." The girls agreed, chatted for a few more words, and then hung up the phone. At this time, Yi Xian looked at the time and it was time for lunch, so he squatted down again, looked at the two girls, Yi Yun and Yi Zi, lovingly, and asked softly, "Girls, it's noon now, are you hungry?" The two girls laughed and threw themselves into Yi Xian's arms, rubbed their little bellies cutely, and pretended to look pitiful. "Dad, we're hungry." Yi Xian nodded and gently rubbed the two girls' heads. "Okay, let's go eat now." Afterwards, everyone prepared to go for dinner together. Tang Hao saw that there were so many people and this red flag car definitely couldn't accommodate them all. Thinking of this, Tang Hao walked aside, took out his cell phone, called another luxury car, and asked a Rolls-Royce Phantom extended version to come over. "Miss, please take another car later. This car is full." "Sorry." Wang Yiyu nodded and understood Tang Hao's approach very well. After all, it was a family reunion, and there were indeed not enough seats. Not long after, a Rolls-Royce Phantom extended version drove in front of everyone. "Miss, please get in the car." After the Rolls-Royce drove over, a driver in a suit and tie quickly got out of the car, opened the back door, and made an inviting gesture to Wang Yiyun with an extremely respectful attitude. When Wang Yiyun saw this scene, she was inevitably stunned for a moment and felt a little flattered. "Good." Wang Yiyun agreed and got into the Rolls-Royce. Looking at the luxurious interior, she suddenly felt like a country bumpkin. The fathers of these girls are so scary. At this moment, although Wang Yiyun was surprised, she was also truly happy for the mother and daughter. After all, she, as their best friend and aunt, has seen how Wang Xinyo has brought these girls up over the years. In this way, the two cars drove on the road in Tianjin, and soon arrived at the door of the hotel. Tianjin International Hotel is one of the most famous hotels in Tianjin. The luxurious decoration at the door alone is enough to show the grandeur of this place. At the same time, this is also the place where all the celebrities and dignitaries from Tianjin gather. To put it bluntly, those who come here are all well-known figures. In the hotel lobby, the lobby manager was entertaining guests, with a smile on his face as he arranged private rooms for several wealthy young ladies who had just arrived. While he was still busy, the waiter came to his side and whispered a few words to him. Suddenly, the beautiful lobby manager was stunned. She threw the work in her hands to the waiter and ran outside. As soon as the beautiful lobby manager walked to the door, she saw two luxury cars driving towards her. She shuddered all over and took a breath of cold air. But the shock only lasted for a moment. The beautiful lobby manager came to her senses and hurried forward to greet him. "Sir, welcome to our hotel. It really makes us feel honored." The beautiful lobby manager greeted them politely, then made an invitation and respectfully welcomed Yi Xian and his party into the hotel, and directly arranged a private room on the top floor. Afterwards, Yi Xian and his group entered the private room and sat down in a lively atmosphere. Wow! This place is so luxurious. As soon as the two little guys came in, they were dazzled by the luxurious decoration in front of them. This private room adopts Chinese style, with all mahogany tables and chairs inside, and the carpet on the floor is also made of gold and jade threads. The large square table in the middle is even more eye-catching. In addition to these, this private room also has a lounge and a tea room, so it has everything you need. At this moment, everyone except Yi Xian was completely shocked by the decoration inside. Luxurious! This is the ultimate luxury. The two little girls were held by Yi Xian at this time. Looking at this scene, they couldn't help but open their mouths wide. Afterwards, everyone quickly sat down. Yi Xian picked up the menu and prepared to order. Before that, Yi Xian looked at the two little guys beside him with a smile. "Girls, what do you like to eat?" The two little girls were so hungry that their stomachs were growling, and they didn't know what to order for a moment. Seeing this, Yi Xian smiled and simply hugged the two girls in his arms again, flipping through the pages one by one. As long as the two little girls liked it, he ordered one of them. "Okay, that's all." After a while, Yi Xian ordered a lot of dishes, almost all for the two girls. He also ordered a few special dishes, then closed the menu and handed it to the manager beside him. This time, the ordering was personally served by the beautiful lobby manager. After all, the guests this time were really important guests, and no carelessness was allowed in any link. "Okay, sir, please wait a moment." The lobby manager took the menu, nodded respectfully, and left without offering excessive service. Just after the lobby manager went out, he saw the chairman and the general manager walking towards this side while talking. The two had just returned from the Wang family. Even now, they still felt indescribable surprise about what they had just seen. It's unbelievable. The Wang family is doomed just like this. There was a deep shock in the chairman's eyes at this moment. No one could accept such a thing at once. "Yes, we have only been at Wang's house for less than half an hour, and we have witnessed all this." The general manager was also sighing beside him. After all, this was one of the few large families in the whole of Tianjin. The beautiful lobby manager saw two people walking towards them while talking, and she did not dare to slack off. She quickly walked up to them and told them what had just happened. After hearing this, the two of them became tense in an instant. Chapter 79 God's Blessing. What kind of person was that gentleman just now? The chairman was so frightened that his face was covered in sweat, and he quickly questioned the lobby manager in detail. When the lobby manager saw the two of them like this, he knew that this matter should not be underestimated, so he quickly described what Yi Xian looked like just now. The gentleman who just came in has a great figure, is wearing a formal suit, and is very elegant. Although he looks young and handsome, he always has a mature and calm demeanor in his every move. When the chairman heard this description, his heart trembled immediately, but to be safe, he still checked the surveillance video, and his face changed drastically. Just by looking at the surveillance video, it can be confirmed 100% that this person is Mr. Yi, who was so powerful in the Wang family just now. Yes. This is Mr. Yi. The chairman looked seriously at the lobby manager and general manager beside him and gave them instructions. This is a distinguished guest among distinguished guests. You must treat him well. But halfway through his words, the chairman frowned, gritted his teeth, and swallowed it back. Forget it, I'll entertain them myself this time. The chairman straightened his collar and prepared to go up. Over here, the dishes were already prepared and the waiters served them quickly. The two little girls couldn't help drooling as they looked at the fragrant and exquisitely presented dishes. Come on, girls, eat quickly. Yi Xian also looked at the two girls lovingly, picked up some dishes for them, and soon filled their small bowls. He. Thank you, Dad. Yi Yin and Yi Zi smiled foolishly at Yi Xian, then grabbed the chopsticks with their chubby little hands and started eating contentedly. Slow down, don't choke. Wang Xinyao ate in small bites and looked at the two girls while they ate, reminding them with concern. At this time, looking at the table full of dishes, Wang Xinyao also looked at Yi Xian beside her and said softly, This meal must cost a lot of money, right? Upon hearing this, Yi Xian smiled and shook his head, saying calmly, It's okay, it doesn't cost much, as long as you are satisfied. As soon as these words came out, Wang Xinyao's heart skipped a beat. She once again saw the guilt and pity in this man's eyes. Coupled with his gentle tone, even she couldn't help blushing. She didn't say anything and nodded gently. Xinyao, you've only just arrived, and you're already concerned about the family's financial affairs. Wang Yu, who was watching this scene, also joked with a smile. You. Eat quickly. Can't all these delicious foods keep you from eating? Wang Xinyao glared at Wang Yiyun and smiled unhappily, but her face obviously turned redder. Dad, I need to go to the bathroom. While eating, the little girl Yi Zi suddenly stood up and looked at Yi Xian beside her. Yeah, go ahead babe, the bathroom is right outside. Good. Yi Zi nodded obediently, walked outside, and ran to the bathroom. At this moment, the chairman was still waiting outside the door, but suddenly he saw a little girl running out and was stunned. Yi Zidong looked around, not knowing where the restroom was, so he turned to look at the chairman in front of him and asked, Uncle, where is the bathroom? The chairman looked at Yi Zi, pointed to the other side, and said kindly, Little guy, the bathroom is over there. Thank you, uncle. Yi Zi politely thanked the chairman in front of him and trotted towards the direction where the chairman had pointed. Crash! But after a while, a crisp sound came from the other side. The chairman was startled for a moment, and then he saw Yi Zi fall to the ground and accidentally hit a decorative vase next to him. At this moment, the vase has been shattered into pieces. The sound was also heard in the private room. Yi Xian and others quickly came out. Seeing Yi Zi fall to the ground, they immediately ran over. When the chairman saw this scene, his heart suddenly tightened. The person he saw just now was General Yi Long. If something really happened, wouldn't my hotel be doomed? Seeing Yi Xian coming, Yi Zi came to his senses and quickly stood up. Dad, I'm fine, it's just that the vase is broken. As she was talking, the little girl's head slumped down, with a look of self-blame. Then, the little girl gently raised her head and looked at Wang Xinyao, and spoke in a negotiating tone. Sorry, Mom, please help me pay for it first, and I will make up for it with my pocket money in the future. Wang Xinyao looked at Yi Zi's self-blaming expression, walked up to her and touched her little face, without any intention of blaming her. It's okay, as long as you're not hurt. At this time, Wang Xinyao also saw the chairman standing nearby. She thought he was a hotel staff member who came to ask for compensation, so she spoke first and asked apologetically. I'm sorry for breaking your vase. We'll compensate you for the price of the vase. But when the chairman heard this, he hurriedly shook his head and introduced himself. Hello, distinguished guests. I am the chairman of this hotel. The chairman was so frightened at this moment that he even stuttered when he spoke. This turned out to be General Yi Long's daughter. Thinking of this, the chairman looked at the little girl again, confirmed that nothing was wrong, breathed a sigh of relief, and continued. Everyone, this is all our fault. Maybe the ground is too slippery. No need to pay compensation. Thank goodness nothing serious happened, otherwise I would have felt so bad. All of this is our responsibility. If you need anything, everyone in our hotel will serve you wholeheartedly. The chairman immediately took all the responsibility for the matter on himself and said some polite words. Afterwards, Yi Xian looked at Wang Xinyao, smiled and shook his head, squatted down and said to Yi Zi with a smile. Okay, go to the bathroom, Daddy and Mommy are waiting for you here. Yi Zi nodded, then went to the bathroom, then followed Yi Xian and Wang Xinyo into the restaurant to eat. The chairman, however, had been waiting outside at this time. He only respectfully sent Yi Xian and others away after they finished their meal. When they got outside, Yi Xian and Tang Hao whispered something, and then everyone got into the car quickly. At the hotel entrance, after seeing off Yi Xian and others, the chairman breathed a sigh of relief, thinking that it was a good thing that the vase did not fall on the child. General Yi Long's daughter is his precious treasure. If anything happens to her, this hotel will probably have to close the next day. That's not all. He couldn't even imagine the other consequences now. It's really the blessing of God. When the chairman thought about this, he was still sweating coldly even now. Chapter 80 Invitation. Afterwards, the chairman watched the 2 luxury cars leave before returning to the hotel. As soon as he went up, the chairman saw the beautiful lobby manager rushing towards him. "Chairman, there's a dispute going on upstairs. Why don't you go up and take a look?" Upon hearing that something had happened, the chairman just frowned and walked upstairs, but he didn't seem too nervous or anxious. After all, no matter how big this matter is, compared with what Yi Long just did here, what does it matter? Soon, the chairman went upstairs and saw the hotel staff arguing with the fat woman with a little boy on the other side. At this time, another staff member saw the chairman coming and hurried over to explain the whole story. "Chairman, this is what happened. Not only did the little boy deliberately break the vase, he also deliberately disturbed other customers while dining and yelled everywhere. He is a naughty child. But they are not prepared to compensate, and..." At this time, the fat woman was listening on the side. She walked over angrily and interrupted the staff. "What's wrong? I haven't blamed you guys for being slippery. Besides, didn't a girl break a vase here before? Why didn't you ask them to pay for it? They are customers, but I am not a customer." Looking at the fat woman's arrogant look, the chairman sneered and said with disdain, "Are you worthy enough to compare them with Yi Long?" As he spoke, the chairman looked at the staff beside him and said lightly, "You are really getting worse and worse. In a situation like this, if they don't compensate you, call the police." The fat woman was stunned for a moment, but still stubbornly refused to pay the money. But there was no way out. Although she made a fuss again, it was to no avail. In the end, she could only pay the money reluctantly. After a while, in the chairman's office, a waiter knocked gently on the door. "Come in." The chairman was checking the bill at this time. When he saw the waiter holding a check, he looked up. "What's wrong? Whose check is this?" "Chairman, this is a check left by the previous gentleman." As he spoke, the waiter handed the check to the chairman. But looking at the check, the chairman was still confused and asked the waiter a few more questions. At this time, the chairman realized that this was left by Tang Hao. "You are worthy of being General Yi Long." The chairman stared at the check blankly, sighed, and murmured with admiration. At the same time, in the car, Yi Zi was still thinking about breaking the vase. "Dad, I broke the vase by mistake. I really didn't mean to do it. But the uncle just now said that there is no need to compensate. Is this not good?" Yi Xian sat aside, looking at the little girl with a self-blaming look on her face. He smiled, rubbed her little face, and comforted her softly. "Don't worry, Dad has already compensated you. But you have to take responsibility for your own actions. Let me punish you by not allowing you to eat candy for a month, okay? From now on, don't be so impetuous again." "Yeah, I got it." Yi Zi nodded obediently. Although he was punished at this time, he felt much more at ease. Yi Yun, who was standing aside, smiled and held Yi Zi's hand, then looked towards Wang Xinyao. "Mom, is the plane you promised to make for us ready?" Wang Xinyao squinted at the little girl and shook her head gently. "Not yet, wait a little longer." Speaking of this, Yi Xian on the side also had a puzzled look on his face. He looked at Wang Xinyao and cast a questioning look on his face. "Well, it's like this. I'm engaged in aerospace research, and I promised these little ones that I would make a toy airplane for them." "I see." Yi Xian finally understood, smiled faintly, and picked up Yi Yun, who was beside him. "Dad will also be testing a small plane in a few days. How about we go together then?" "Good." When Yi Yun heard this, her eyes were suddenly filled with anticipation and she nodded heavily. But just as he finished speaking, Yi Xian's cell phone rang with a message alert. Yi Xian took out his cell phone and saw that it was a message from Lin Shang. "My benefactor, we are setting up tea at Tianjing Tea House right now. and we would like to invite you to have a chat. Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan had just sent the message and were waiting nervously, but they didn't have any expectations in their hearts. After all, they only knew at the beginning that Yi Xian was a man of amazing medical skills and a genius doctor. But now no one would have thought that Yi Xian was actually a 5-star dragon general, the highest rank in the Yanhuang military. This is really amazing. As a result, their identities became insignificant in front of Yi Xian. Besides, Yi Xian had said before that he didn't like being disturbed. But what surprised the two was that the next moment, they received Yi Xian's reply. When Lin Shang heard the message alert tone, his hand trembled as he held the phone. When he picked it up, he saw that Yi Xian had only replied with one word. Good. This one word is enough to explain Yi Xian's position, and it seems that he has already agreed. Oh my god. Is this true? For a moment, Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan looked at each other's eyes, both filled with joy and a hint of disbelief. Yi Xian accepted their invitation so readily, which surprised them. Let's go quickly and prepare well. At this time, Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan walked out and headed outside the tea house. The owner of the tea house at the door was shocked when he saw this scene. His hands and feet trembled and the teacup in his hand almost fell to the ground. After all, he knew the identities of these two people. One was the head of the Lin family, and the other was the old man of the Lin family. They were both well-known figures in the entire Tianjingdu. But at this moment, of the two people outside, Lin Yuhan was standing straight, and although Lin Shang's body was slightly hunched, there was solemnity and respect in his eyes. The two were waiting outside the door so respectfully that not only the owner of the tea house, but even the dignitaries inside the tea house were talking about it. Am I seeing things? These two are waiting for someone outside. Hiss. Unbelievable, it's simply out of this world. These are the patriarch and the old man of the Lin family. Who is worthy of their waiting? The dignitaries were talking about it, but they were confused. However, no one dared to go out. After all, there were two people standing at the door. At this moment, everyone was looking at them, and they were all curious about who these two top dignitaries in Tianjing were waiting for. But time passed by, and no one showed up after a long time. As a result, everyone was stunned. The longer they waited, the more shocked everyone was. After all, the longer they waited, the more respectful they were to the visitor, and the higher the status of the person who was waiting. It's been several cups of tea, why hasn't he come yet? It's hard to imagine, who on earth is worthy of the Lin family's patriarch and the old man waiting for so long? I am becoming more and more curious about the other party's identity. If such a person stamps his feet, the whole of Tianjing will be shaken by a huge earthquake. As everyone was discussing this, they became more and more excited about the identity of the visitor. After a while, everyone suddenly saw a Hongqi L5 and a Rolls-Royce Phantom extended version driving towards them in the distance. The direction of the two cars was directly towards Lin Yuhan and Lin Shang, who were standing at the entrance of the tea house. Suddenly, seeing this car, all the dignitaries in the tea house were in an uproar. What kind of car is this? No wonder. This car alone is enough to prove the other party's identity. Chapter 81 Golden Tea Leaves. Alas, compared to this, our car is just garbage. After all, the Hongqi is a car that only top executives and state guests can ride in. As for the Rolls-Royce behind it, only wealthy people are qualified to own it. Now everyone looked at Lin Yuhan and Lin Shang, and they knew what was going on in their hearts. No wonder the dignified head of the Lin family and the old man of the Lin family were waiting so respectfully. Just by looking at the car, one could tell the other party's identity, which was extremely important. Lin Yuhan and Lin Shang saw two cars stopped in front of them at this time, and they immediately bowed and walked forward to greet them. This scene also made the dignitaries in the tea house astonished. General Yi Long, you are here. Lin Shang's whole body was trembling at this time, and his eyes burst into admiration. This young man in front of him, even an old guy like him needs to look up to him. Not to mention Lin Yuhan, he also looked at Yi Xian with a smile on his face. The admiration in his heart was extremely real, and there was deep gratitude in his eyes. Yi Xian looked at Lin Shang, sized him up, and said with a smile, "Your body seems to have recovered well. It's much better than when you went to Jinling." Speaking of this, Lin Shang was also full of emotion. He looked at Yi Xian in front of him and said with gratitude, "Oh, this is all thanks to your prescription." As they were talking, Wang Xinyao and the others also got out of the car. Seeing this, Yi Xian introduced them one by one. "Let me introduce you. These are my family members. These are my two daughters. Welcome everyone. Seeing this, Lin Yuhan and the other man also greeted them with the same respect. After all, they were all General Yi Long's family. Everyone, the seats upstairs are ready, come in and take a seat. Afterwards, Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan invited Yi Xian and others to walk into the tea house. The people in the tea house were all shocked to see how young Yi Xian was. They stared at each other's faces, expecting an answer, but no one present knew Yi Xian's identity. Who is this? I've never seen him before. It's terrible. He's so young, yet the Lin family's patriarch and the old man are so respectful to him. Who do you think this person is? Does anyone know him? When it comes to Yi Xian's identity, everyone present fell silent, with all kinds of speculations in their minds. At this time, one of the middle-aged men frowned and said half guessingly and half affirmatively. Could this person be General Yi Long? General Yi Long? When the people around heard this, they all looked over here. It seemed that this person should know something. Alas, I guessed it after hearing about the Wang family. I think it should be correct. The more the middle-aged man spoke, the more certain he became of his guess, and he spoke with confidence. Think about it, everyone knows about the Wang family's affairs. Did the old man of the Lin family and Lin Shang protect General Yi Long at that time? Hearing what the middle-aged man said, the dignitaries around him suddenly understood and nodded. That's right, so think about it, who else can make these two members of the Lin family so respectful and who is so young? The people around them also suddenly realized what was going on. They were shocked and their eyes widened. No wonder. No wonder. This must be General Yi Long. It's incredible that someone so young can achieve such a status. The 5-star dragon general of the Yanhuang army is already the top figure in the entire China. Even if you look at the entire world, he can be regarded as a top-notch existence. People immediately started talking, but when they saw Yi Xian and others had already walked into the tea house, they all fell silent again. No one dared to speak, for fear of saying something wrong. At this time, Yi Xian and others had already walked into the tea garden. This tea garden can be regarded as a tea garden with a better environment. The decoration is very quiet and elegant, but not cheap at all. The tables and chairs are carefully designed with high quality and precious wood. There are also many potted plants planted around, making the air in the tea garden much fresher. Coupled with the scent of tea floating at the tip of your nose, taking a deep breath will make your ears and eyes clear. When the boss saw Yi Xian and others coming in, he did not hesitate and immediately greeted them respectfully, bending down and bowing. Welcome to our tea garden, sir. You really make our little place shine. Then the boss bent down again and spoke respectfully. Dear guests, please follow me, I will take you to the private room now. Soon, Yi Xian and others followed the boss into the private room. Yi Xian, as a distinguished guest, was warmly invited to the main seat by Lin Yuhan and Lin Shang. The boss who saw the scene was indescribably shocked. This also means that Yi Xian's identity is probably beyond his imagination. This was an existence that even the patriarch of the Lin family and the old man of the Lin family had to be so respectful to. The boss suddenly felt that his imagination was not enough. Everyone, you are all customers. Today I will definitely serve you my best tea. Please wait a moment. As he spoke, the boss was about to serve tea, but Lin Shang on the side shook his head. No, I brought it myself today. Then, Lin Shang took out a small can of tea that he carried with him. When the boss saw this, he opened it and smelled it. He immediately felt his heart freeze. His eyes were filled with earth-shaking shock, and he said tremblingly, is this the imperial tribute red robe? Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan looked at each other and smiled slightly. Yes, you are worthy of being the boss. You are really an expert in tea. Afterwards, Lin Shang solemnly placed the small can of tea on the tea table and said to Yi Xian respectfully, General Yi Long, this tea is specially prepared for you, please try it. Yi Xian looked at the imperial tribute red robe, waved his hand and said with a smile, It's okay, just drink mine today. As he spoke, Yi Xian looked at the boss who was still in a daze and said lightly, Boss, bring me a teapot. The boss nodded immediately and hurried to prepare what Yi Xian needed. Tang Hao on the side also understood and quickly stood up, preparing to go back to the car to get the tea. At this time, Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan were both stunned. After all, this imperial tribute to Hongpo was considered the best tea on the market. No. This is not just the best tea in the market, but also in the circles of dignitaries like them. This imperial tribute to Hongpo is truly priceless. In other words, there is only a limited amount produced each year. It is not something that can be obtained just by having money. But General Yi Long would not drink this kind of tea? This situation left Lin Yuhan and Lin Shang speechless. After all, this was the best tea they could get. At this time, the boss had already brought the teapot, and Tang Hao also brought the tea bags from the car. Yi Xian took out a piece of tea from the tea bag that Tang Hao brought. This tea was obtained by Yi Xian when he signed in before. It is extremely mellow and has a long aftertaste. It cannot be compared with the imperial tribute to Hongpo. And this tea, just looking at it, is different from other teas. It is green and without any trace of withering or dryness. It seems as if it is still hanging on the tea tree, full of vitality. The most surprising thing is that the tea leaves are actually emitting a faint golden color. Chapter 82 Super Dad. This tea, not to mention Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan, even the boss has never seen such a tea. Then, everyone suddenly felt a hint of fragrance in the air. With a light sniff, they felt a fragrance seeping into their noses. This smell is simply intoxicating. It is strong but not disgusting. It is more refreshing and pleasant. Just one sniff of it can make one feel clear-headed. Yi Xian put a tea leaf into the teapot, picked up the hot water beside him, and slowly brewed it. As the hot water soaked the tea leaves, steam rose and suddenly, the room was filled with an enticing tea aroma. For a moment, the room was filled with fragrance, and everyone who smelled the aroma felt as if they were wandering in a sea of tea. This feeling is really hard to describe. Everyone just greedily inhaled the fragrance, and even their lungs felt an indescribable comfort. Lin Shang now felt that all the breathing difficulties and sore throat he had suffered from the disease seemed to have disappeared in an instant. What follows is freshness and refreshment, and long-lost comfort, as if the whole person feels a lot younger. At this time, everyone can't wait to taste this kind of tea. After a while, the tea was almost brewed, and Yi Xian poured a cup of tea for Wang Xinyao, the two little girls, and Wang Yiyu in turn. Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan had no complaints and just waited quietly. You too, have some tea. Then, Yi Xian picked up the teapot and poured a cup for each of them. Immediately, both of them were flattered and stood up to thank him respectfully. Thank you so much, General Yi Long. We are so worthy of this. Yes, you even poured tea for us yourself, that's so kind. Yi Xian waved his hand lightly, and finally poured himself a glass. Okay, it's okay, have some tea. At this time, everyone couldn't wait any longer, so they carefully picked up the teacup and took a sip. But just such a small cut like the nail makes everyone's eyes light up. This feeling is like the soul has been sublimated. Compared with this tea, the imperial tribute to Hongpo just now is just a little brother. Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan have drunk a lot of good tea, but after taking a sip of this tea, they suddenly felt that the tea they had drunk before was tasteless. It is too difficult to describe this feeling. Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan both felt their bodies trembling and a burst of fragrance burst out from their mouths. After entering the lungs, the fragrance quickly lingers on, making all the pores open in comfort. Others also tasted the tea and thought it was delicious. They immediately stood up and exclaimed in praise. This tea is really good, it tastes really good. After drinking the tea, the two little girls found it very enjoyable and finished it quickly. Looking at the teapot which was still steaming, they thought about refilling their cups. Dad, can we have another drink? Yi Xian looked at the two girls' expectant eyes, smiled and tapped their heads gently, and immediately rejected the two girls' requests. If you still want to drink, aren't you afraid that you won't be able to sleep at night? Oh. We know. The two little girls licked their tongues. Although they still wanted to drink, since their father had said so, they didn't say anything more. Mr. Yi, what kind of tea is this? It smells so good. Lin Yuhan and Lin Shang looked at Lin Shang at the same time. They were quite curious about the tea. This tea is from a wild tea tree that I picked by chance on a mountain. Yi Xian explained with a smile as he sipped his tea. That's it. Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan nodded. Although they knew that Yi Xian's words were somewhat evasive, they didn't say much. If this tea came from a wild tea tree on the mountain, I'm afraid the mountain would have been dug bare by now. By the way, Mr. Yi, do you want to live in Tianjing permanently this time? Lin Shang asked while drinking tea and looking at Yi Xian. No, I will be going back to Jiling in a day or two. Yi Xian shook his head, suddenly remembered something, and looked at Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan. By the way, I just wanted to ask you guys, is there anything fun in Tianjing recently? To be honest, Lin Sheng and the others were not too clear about this, but they just smiled, and Lin Yuhan suddenly thought of a good idea. By the way, there is a light show online today. It should be quite a big event. I think children will like this activity more. Yi Xian nodded, looked at the two girls beside him, and asked with a smile. How about it, girls, do you want to go see the light show? Think. The two girls nodded, showing great interest in the light show. Okay, Dad will take you there when the time comes. Yi Xian smiled and agreed to the two girls, his face full of pampering and tenderness. However, this scene was very surprising in the eyes of Lin Yuhan and Lin Shang. This is the 5-star dragon general of the Yanhuan army. Anyone who can get this title must be a real killing god on the battlefield. Such a person is the nightmare of every enemy, but at this moment, he looks like a super dad. Seeing this scene, Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan looked at each other, and a smile appeared on the corners of their mouths. Afterwards, everyone chatted for a while, and Yi Xian stood up, ready to say goodbye to Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan and leave. But at this time, Yi Xian took out 2 pieces of tea leaves and looked at the two of them. It is said that it is impolite not to reciprocate. Just accept these. It can be considered as a courtesy. Yi Xian's action immediately made Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan shudder all over. They also know the value of this tea. It is definitely the best of the best and is priceless. But as for what Yi Xian said about it being rude not to reciprocate, come to think of it, this must be their behavior today. At this time, both of them were feeling lucky that they had been firm in their decision. Mr. Yi, you are our Lin family's benefactor. We have no way to repay your kindness. Now you are giving us such a valuable gift. We cannot accept it. Chapter 83, Stingy. Lin Shang looked at Yi Xian seriously and declined the tea that Yi Xian handed to him. Yes, Mr. Yi. Besides, the value of this tea is so precious. We don't want to receive anything without doing anything. I really don't know how to accept it. Lin Yuhan also declined at this time, but Yi Xian said another sentence. Just accept it. You invited me over for tea today, so it's not too much for me to give you a gift. Besides, giving a rose to someone will leave a sweet fragrance on your hand. You should also help them do the good thing. All right. After hearing what Yi Xian said, Lin Shang no longer refused and took the tea that Yi Xian handed to him. Then we'll shamelessly accept it. Then, Lin Shang asked the boss to find a box and carefully put the 2 pieces of tea leaves away. He knew that this tea was infinitely better than the imperial tribute to Hongpo. Such top-quality tea was something that could only be found in the world. Lin Yuhan was also expressing his gratitude repeatedly at this time. This was an unimaginably generous gift. Not to mention its own value, even if it was just a chicken feather, this was a gift from General Yi Long. Thinking of this, Lin Yuhan thought for a moment and continued. General Yi Long, why don't we go to Tianjing Hotel for dinner tonight? Ding ding ding. But just as he finished speaking, Lin Yuhan's cell phone rang. He smiled awkwardly, walked aside apologetically, and said a few simple words. After coming back, Yi Xian waved his hand before Lin Yuhan could speak. That's not necessary. We can just eat something casually. Go and do whatever you need to do. After all, today, the whole of Tianjing is in turmoil. Go ahead, we can talk about eating when you come back. When Lin Yuhan and the others heard Yi Xian say this, they smiled awkwardly and nodded in agreement. Good. Then let's go back. Seeing the two nod, Yi Xian said goodbye to them and prepared to turn around and leave. Mr. Yi, we'll take you there. Seeing this, Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan also followed suit. At this time, the dignitaries outside were already waiting. When they saw the 2 people from the Lin family personally escorting Yi Xian out, they immediately started talking about it. TSK, there are probably not many people in this world who can be sent off by these 2 members of the Lin family. Yes, this is General Yi Long, the shining 5-star dragon general of the current Yanhuang military. Only the Lin family is qualified to invite others. People like us can only watch. As people were talking and sighing, Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan saw Yi Xian off and headed towards the Hongyu Club in the suburbs. The remaining dignitaries only breathed a sigh of relief after seeing Yi Xian and the Lin family leave. Finally they left. With all these big shots here, I can hardly breathe. Of course not. Each of these identities is more frightening than the other. Who can stand it? It seems that Tianjin is going to be reshuffled now. With General Yi Long's connections, the rise of the Lin family is just around the corner. As everyone was discussing, they had the same plan in mind. Even if they couldn't get to know someone like Yi Longjiang now, they had to build a good relationship with the Lin family in Tianjin. Time passed quickly, and soon Lin Shang and Lin Yuhan arrived at the club. At this time, many dignitaries gathered in the club. They gathered in groups and talked about what happened today. It's really a matter of seconds. The Wang family, a big and vibrant family, has become a thing of the past. Oh. But this is no one's fault. It can be said that it is the Wang family's own fault. Talking about the Wang family, everyone was sighing. What happened on this day was really hard to accept. By the way, are Mr. Lin and his friends coming as invited? At this time, someone suddenly remembered the Lin family and quickly asked the people around him. Don't worry, you've been invited. One of the old men nodded, with a complicated look in his eyes. This time, the Lin family is going to rise straight to the top. When everyone heard this, they all nodded, and everyone saw it. After all, this time, it was the Lin family who had the courage and stood firm under the circumstances at the time, which was equivalent to tying themselves and General Yilong together. So until now, no one is jealous. Just imagine if it were me at that time, I would never dare to take such a risk. Just as people were expressing their deepest emotion and discussing the matter, Lin Yuhan and Lin Shang from the Lin family walked in. The Lin family's patriarch and the old man are here. Suddenly, no one knew who spoke first, but everyone's eyes turned towards the door. Sure enough, Lin Yuhan and Lin Shang were striding towards there. Everyone was stunned at first, then they stepped forward and greeted him respectfully and enthusiastically. Master Lin, Mr. Lin, I am sorry for not welcoming you in person. Please come in quickly. The old man looks much better. It seems that he is in good health now. Master Lin, please come this way, we have already made arrangements. For a moment, Lin Yuhan and Lin Shang became the focus of the entire club. Almost everyone stood up and greeted them enthusiastically. The two of them also smiled and nodded, then walked inside with the welcoming group. Speaking of the Lin family now, they can get a lot of support and win many projects in just one meeting. The Lin family almost monopolized most of the profits from these projects, which would have been impossible to achieve before. In other words, almost everyone is now racking their brains to establish diplomatic relations with the Lin family. Therefore, these projects were not based on profit, but were entirely for the purpose of building good relations with the Lin family. After the meeting, several big families in Tianjin gathered together to drink tea and chat. These people were truly dignitaries among the dignitaries in Tianjin. Several middle-aged and elderly people were sitting around the tea table, sipping tea from their cups and chatting about a variety of topics. Within this area, one can smell a strong aroma of tea. The tea these people drink is very expensive. While everyone was drinking and chatting, one of the family heads smiled mysteriously and spoke to the family heads next to him. By the way, everyone, I recently got some really good tea, let's try it together. As soon as these words were spoken, the eyes of the people who were leisurely drinking tea a second ago suddenly lit up, and they all stared at the guy who had just spoken, their eyes shining brightly. Oh, old Su, sure. If you have good stuff, you should share it with everyone. Take it out quickly. Now that you mention it, I feel like the tea I'm drinking now doesn't smell good anymore. Wow. Old Su, I didn't misjudge you. Weren't you so stingy before? It seems I misunderstood you. Su Nan looked at everyone's expectant eyes, with a smile in his eyes, and spoke slowly. It's okay to give it a try, but you can't have it for nothing. When Su Nan said this, the others were stunned at first, and then they became unhappy and looked at Su Nan unhappily. But don't worry, I won't make any excessive demands. It's just that the project's under your control. What? When Su Nan made his point clear, the others began to criticize him. Old man, why do you have to negotiate conditions even for a cup of tea? You're so stingy. You're still the same old thing. Why do you think of a cup of tea like this? I have to say, old Su, you are such a thief. Can you live with your conscience? But even though everyone was pointing at him, the head of the Su Nan family still looked indifferent and spoke to everyone. If you don't want to change, then just don't drink it. It's so simple. After these words were spoken, Lin Shang, who had been silent, got angry. With his temper, how could he tolerate this? Go away. If you don't want to take it out, forget it. Lin Shang waved his hand and took out the small box from his pocket that contained the 2 pieces of tea leaves that Yi Xian had given him. I have some really good tea here. I'll treat everyone to some. Suddenly, everyone fell silent, and then when they saw Lin Shang take out the small wooden box, they burst into exclamations. Oh! It's really Mr. Lin who is so generous. Old Sue, you better watch out. Follow and learn from me. Ha ha, I drink Mr. Lin's tea. Mr. Lin's tea is definitely good. For a moment, people all looked at him expectantly. Lin Shang also smiled slightly and carefully took out a piece of tea from the wooden box. Suddenly, the fragrance of tea quickly spread, and everyone smelled this rich and refreshing tea aroma. This. All of a sudden, everyone shuddered, sniffed the air around them greedily, and couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. Mr. Lin's tea is really good. This tea is absolutely amazing. I can't resist it just by smelling it. This is the real good tea. It smells even better than the imperial tribute to Hong Pao. Lin Shang held the tea leaves and looked at everyone who couldn't hold back any longer. He just smiled slightly and coughed. Ahem. Give me a knife first. Knife. For a moment, everyone was confused and looked at old man Lin Shanglin in doubt, not knowing what he was going to do with the knife. But despite their doubts, everyone still found a knife and handed it to Lin Shang. Then, Lin Shang took the knife, and under the astonished gaze of everyone, he slowly cut 1/3 of the tea leaves, and put the rest back into the box. Chapter 84 Xinyao, you will be blessed in the future. Suddenly, everyone's faces were filled with question marks. Lin Shang's actions really made them dumbfounded. Just take out a piece of tea leaves, let alone say that a piece of tea leaves requires so much cutting. Mr. Lin, you are a little too stingy, aren't you? You are not that stingy, are you? So you and Su Nan are going to compete today to see who is more stingy? Oh, just a little tea. Who can drink it? At this time, everyone was accusing Lin Shang of being stingy, and they were all at a loss whether to laugh or cry when they saw the old man's behavior. Humph. You know nothing. Do you want to drink or not? If not, I won't even have enough for this. You think it's too little, but I'm reluctant to give it to you. Everyone had been so captivated by the fragrance of the tea that they were almost captivated by it. They were also sure that this must be a rare and good tea. So when faced with this question, everyone's answer was extremely resolute. Drink. It would be a waste if you don't drink it. That's right. Lin Shang pouted. You know, even after cutting these off, he felt heartbroken. However, the tea leaves had already been put into the teapot, and there was no room for regret. Lin Shang could only use hot water to brew the tea. For a moment, as hot water was poured into the pot, the whole room was filled with fragrance, making everyone feel as if they were in a tea garden of 10,000 acres. The aroma is enough to make people feel like they are in heaven just by smelling it, especially for these old guys who regard tea as their life. The attraction is simply too great. At this time, all the family heads were greedily breathing in the tea fragrance at their noses, with red eyes looking forward to the tea being brewed so that they could taste it comfortably. This also makes the originally short tea-making stage seem like a year in the eyes of everyone. But the wait was worth it, as everyone had concluded that this tea had far surpassed the imperial tribute to Hongpo and could be said to be truly top grade. Soon, after the tea was brewed, everyone started pouring it. After everyone had a cup, the teapot was empty. When the family heads smelled the fragrance, their whole bodies were trembling, and their hands holding the teacups were shaking. Then, everyone just took a sip and felt a rich tea fragrance bursting out in their mouths, and then quickly spread throughout their bodies. This feeling is so wonderful and comfortable. The family heads present only felt their bodies lighten, a sense of comfort burst out from their lungs, their spirits lifted, and even their ears and eyes seemed to be clearer. I'm drunk. There is such a good tea in this world. After tasting this cup, my life will not be in vain. It tastes so good, I'm almost going crazy. How can there be such a tea? This is a drink for gods, it's incredible and so comfortable. At this moment, everyone couldn't help but praise the tea in unison, with shock in their eyes like raging storms. This tea has really exceeded all of their imaginations. They originally thought it was just slightly better than the imperial tribute to Hongpo, but now it seems that it has reached a new level. At this time, these family heads were all hesitant, tasting the tea in small sips, for fear of accidentally finishing it. If you have a chance to taste this kind of tea once in your life, it would be worth it. Ah! It feels so good. Oh my god! What a good tea! What a good tea! It feels great! Suddenly, the only sounds at the scene were the sips of tea from people and the occasional exclamations of surprise. But even if we drank it in small sips, with only 1 cup of tea per person, it was still finished quickly. Everyone looked at the empty teacups in their hands and sighed. Oh, what a pity! I really want another drink. I suddenly regret drinking this tea. I'm afraid other teas I drink from now on will have no flavor. Alas! It's gone. As everyone lamented, they couldn't help but look at Lin Shang, which made Lin Shang feel creepy all over. Why are you looking at me like that? I don't have any more here. When Lin Shang saw this, he hurriedly covered his small box, fearing that someone would snatch it away. All right. Seeing that Lin Shang was unwilling to take it out, no one said anything. After all, if it were someone else, they might not take it out at all. Wouldn't it be better for one person to enjoy it alone? Although they couldn't get refills, everyone looked at Lin Shang in front of them with doubts. Mr. Lin, where did you get this tea? It's absolutely amazing. Please show us the way. We want to try and get some too. Lao Lin, you can't hide this from us. Seeing everyone's curious expressions, Lin Shang did not reveal the answer directly, but spoke mysteriously. Hey, guess who gave this to you? TSK. Lao Lin, why are you still keeping me in suspense? Yeah, just tell us what you have to say. Why are you keeping us in suspense? Could it be that this tea of yours was really given to you by a god? When people saw Lin Shang like this, they couldn't help but complain a few words. Okay, let me tell you, this is what General Yi Long gave me. What? As Lin Shang said this, everyone present stood up suddenly and looked at Lin Shang in front of them in shock. However, this shock only lasted for a moment, and everyone quickly recovered. After all, they all knew what Yi Longjiang's identity was. A man who can destroy the entire Wang family with just one sentence must be extremely powerful. It is no surprise that he can possess such tea. But what really shocked them was that General Yi Long actually gave such tea to the Lin family. It seemed that they really had a close relationship. Suddenly, everyone's eyes shifted to Lin Shang, and their expressions became more flattering. At the same time, Tang Hao drove everyone back to Tianlan Mansion. Along the way, Wang Xinyao and the 2 girls were all shocked, and Wang Yiyu in the car behind was staring outside the whole time. Afterwards, after arriving at Villa number 1, everyone got out of the car. Yi Xian gently stroked the 2 girls' heads and pointed to the villa in front and said, Girls, this is our home in Tianjing. Really? The 2 girls looked at Yi Xian, their eyes full of surprise. Dad, can we go in and take a look? Of course. Yi Xian smiled and nodded, and the 2 girls held hands and ran into the villa. At this time, Wang Xinyao and Wang Yiyun were still watching from the side, with unspeakable shock in their eyes. Then, Yi Xian took Wang Xinyao and Wang Yiyu into the villa. After a casual stroll, it was soon time for dinner. Yi Xian called the 2 girls over, squatted down and looked at them with a doting look in his eyes. He also looked at Wang Xinyao and said gently, Can I take you to see the light show tonight? The 2 little girls looked at Wang Xinyao behind them, and saw that their mother was also smiling. They immediately threw themselves into Yi Xian's arms and said in a baby voice, Good. Yi Xian nodded, stood up and spoke to everyone. Then I'll go cook first. You guys can play outside now. It will be ready soon. Afterwards, Yi Xian walked into the kitchen, skillfully took out some ingredients from the refrigerator, took out a chopping board and a knife, and began the preparations before cooking. Yi Xian's knife skills have reached a superb level, and it is obvious just by cutting a few shredded potatoes. First, he cleaned the potatoes in no time, and then the neat knife blade made a sound on the chopping board. And every shredded potato is exactly the same, as if they were carved from the same mold. Stir-fried shredded potatoes, although one of the most basic home-cooked dishes, also tests the chef's knife skills and control over the heat and seasoning. After cutting the potatoes, Yi Xian took out fresh beef tenderloin, celery and other ingredients from the refrigerator and quickly started cooking. Bang! As the flames in the stove rose, the ingredients flew around in the iron pot. With Yi Xian's skillful tossing and stir-frying, bursts of aroma soon burst out. Soon after, exquisite dishes such as stir-fried shredded potatoes with sauce, stir-fried beef noodles, and braised lion head were served on the table. It's time to eat. Finally, Yi Xian brought out the freshly stewed old duck soup, and called on everyone to eat with a smile. At this time, the 2 girls had already smelled the aroma, and they trotted to the dining table. Looking at the delicious dishes on the table, they opened their mouths wide and said in surprise, Dad is so awesome. It smells so good. Daddy's a great chef. Yi Xian looked at the two girls drooling with greed, picked them up and carried them to sit on the chair. Wow! Is it that amazing? At this time, Wang Yiyun and Wang Xinyao, who came following the fragrance, looked at the dishes on the table and burst into exclamations. Xinyao, your husband is so amazing. Wang Yiyu whispered in Wang Xinyao's ear, feeling indescribable surprise in her heart. It seems like you will have a good time in the future. After hearing this, Wang Xinyao's face immediately flushed with a charming blush, and she gently pinched Wang Yiyu. Chapter 85. This is General Yi Long's car. Hey, you, alright, eat. Looking at the delicious dishes on the table, everyone's appetite was whetted. After sitting down, they couldn't wait to taste them. Ah! Dad's cooking is so delicious. The two little girls picked up a piece of dry fried beef noodles with chopsticks. The more they chewed, the more delicious it tasted. They were completely conquered by Yi Xian's cooking skills. Mr. Yi, your craftsmanship is amazing. Where did you learn it? Wang Yiyu couldn't help but ask a question while eating. It's okay, I just do some research when I have nothing to do, it's fine as long as you guys are used to it. Yi Xian smiled and shook his head, which made Wang Yiyu shudder. You're self-taught? Wang Yiyun's eyes changed when she looked at Yi Xian. This man was really too strong. Wang Xinyao was also enjoying the delicious food at this time and couldn't help but whisper. It tastes much better than what I make. Yi Xian looked at Wang Xinyao eating with relish and a happy smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. I want to try your cooking in the future. Well, I promise you. Wang Xinyao blushed slightly, and she agreed with a soft voice. In the evening, Yi Xian came to the two girls with a smile and asked them. Girls, if you want to have some snacks tonight, tell Dad and he will make them for you. Dad can also make snacks. Yi Yin and Yi Zi looked at Yi Xian in surprise, then counted on their fingers and said the same thing. Then we're going to have egg yolk pancakes, French fries, popcorn. After finishing speaking, Yi Yin looked at Yi Xian timidly and asked weakly. Dad, haven't we talked too much? Yi Xian gently pinched the two girls' chubby little faces and said with a smile. It's okay, Dad will help you right away. Then, Yi Xian walked into the kitchen and started making snacks for the two girls. It was done in a short while, and the room was filled with fragrant aroma. Wang Xinyao was watching Yi Xian from the side and was also shocked. Is there anything he can't do? Looking at the man's back, Wang Xinyao couldn't help but feel shocked. Not only does she have such status, she also has such financial resources and such superb cooking skills. And more importantly, Yi Xian is so kind to these little guys. Thinking of this, Wang Xinyao's eyes gradually became a little blurred. When Yi Xian looked back, he saw Wang Xinyao looking at him and smiled. Then, Yi Xian picked up a piece of biscuit, and the two little girls beside him immediately opened their mouths, like two hungry birds. However, in the end, Yi Xian put the biscuit next to Wang Xinyao's mouth and said softly. This is fresh out of the oven and it's delicious. Wang Yiyu, who was standing by, fell silent when she saw this scene, but her heart was filled with turmoil. This is not showing affection at all, this is simply bringing in a dog and killing it. This scene is so sweet that Wang Yiyun feels like she is almost suffocating. At this time, Yi Yun was hugging Yi Xian's legs pitifully, looking at the biscuits above her head, and said in a sad voice. Dad, love will disappear, right? But Yi Zi covered her little face at this time, muttering softly. Mom and Dad, shame on you. Wang Xinyao looked at the angular face of the man in front of her and her face turned red immediately, but she still ate the biscuits handed to her by Yi Xian. The cookies were sweet, but Wang Xinyao felt even sweeter in her heart. Afterwards, Wang Xinyao helped Yi Xian pack up the snacks and prepared to change clothes and set off. We are all wearing casual clothes today. After all, we are going out for fun, so there is no need to be too restrained. Wang Xinyao even went out of her way to help Yi Xian tidy up his clothes, lowering her head shyly. This was her first time helping a man tidy up his clothes. Yi Xian was looking at Wang Xinyao in front of him at this moment, the breathing sounds of both of them were so clear. From this perspective, Wang Xinyao's delicate face appeared in front of Yi Xian. Yi Xian was also looking at Wang Xinyao's face seriously at this time. She was still as beautiful as she was back then, so breathtaking. This flawless skin as white as snow, matched with these rosy cinnabar lips, the exquisite and flawless nose tip, and these star-like eyes, appear so beautiful, simply a stunning touch among the fireworks. Wang Yiyu was standing beside the two maids. She shook her head helplessly and whispered in their ears. See? Your parents are truly in love. As for you, it might be an accident. Ah. The two little girls looked at Wang Yiyu's smiling face in surprise, and were immediately hit hard. We're not an accident. We're mommy and daddy's babies. Yiyan put her hands on her hips and spoke in a baby voice. That's right. Mom and dad love us the most. Yi Xian looked at the two girls' pouting faces and felt even more fond of them. He picked up one in each hand, looked at the stars outside, and said lovingly, "Alright girls, let's go." Afterwards, everyone packed up their things and headed towards the light show. At the same time, the light show on the North Sea coast of Tianjin is being prepared in full swing. The staff were busy on the stage, calibrating equipment, checking procedures, and making final preparations. At this time, many people have come here, all of them are tourists who come to watch the light show. The entire North Sea coast is bustling with the sounds of children laughing, people talking, and the hawking of drinks and snacks. More and more people are coming here. After all, this light show is quite attractive. Moreover, it was summer vacation, and the evening breeze on the North Sea coast blew away the hot air, bringing a cool breeze and the much-anticipated light show. There are also many couples among the young people, who are walking hand in hand in the crowd at this moment. They seem so harmonious in this hustle and bustle. Buzz buzz buzz. But at this moment, bursts of roars were heard not far away. Suddenly, one supercar after another drove towards this side. These were the young masters and young ladies of Tianjin, and they were also the exclusive audience of this light show. Their cars are all various kinds of sports cars, with streamlined bodies, roaring engines and cylinders, and paint jobs that glow faintly under the moonlight. The people on the sidelines looked at these supercars and couldn't help but talk about them. Tisk, TSK, look at these cars, they really have money. Yeah, we can only watch, but we can't even think about it. It is said that there are many rich people in Tianjin. It seems to be true. On the other side, the young men and women parked nearby got out of the car, looked at the lively scene, and started chatting with each other. Well. One of them sighed, looked at the young masters and young ladies around him and asked, "Do you all know what happened today?" When everyone heard this, they nodded and were filled with emotion. This incident really shocked my worldview. Who could have thought that the Wang family would be gone in such a short time? We can't help it. The opponent is General Yi Long, a 5-star dragon general of the Yanhuan army. It's really amazing. Without wasting a single soldier, the entire Wang family can be destroyed. Having said this, everyone felt ashamed of themselves. After all, Yi Xian looked so young, yet he had already reached a very high position. You have to know that Yi Xian's current status is that of their previous generation and their previous generations combined, which are nothing in front of Yi Xian. At that moment, someone looked at them and murmured something. We may not be as good as the best, but we are better than the worst. It looks like we are the ones who need to keep the peace tonight. When the others heard this, they also laughed bitterly, but at this time, someone who was tactless said something in a low voice. The tiger is not in the mountain. But before this guy could finish his words, the other young masters were immediately furious and looked at him in unison. What do you mean? Can you talk? If you can't speak, please shut up. Who are you calling a monkey? At this moment, the guy who said the wrong thing just now shut up immediately and his body trembled slightly. After this little incident, the others also sat next to the supercar and started chatting. You know what, there were quite a lot of people at this light show. One of the young masters looked at the boiling crowd around him and said with emotion. Yeah, it's summer vacation now, and it's held here, so of course there are a lot of people. Just as these people were whistling music here and there and waiting for the light show to begin, a cry of surprise suddenly came from not far away. Oh my God! What kind of car is this? Afterwards, there was a burst of noise all around, and these young masters and young ladies were also attracted over there. Look, what is this? Fuck, isn't this car only available to state guests or high-ranking officials? This is the boss. A real boss. At this time, bursts of exclamations were heard all around, and these young masters and ladies also looked in the direction of the sound, curious about what they saw. But the next moment, everyone was stunned. Looking at the Hongqi L5 parked not far away, with a red national flag flying on it, and the license plate is also a domineering military license plate. At this moment, these young masters and young ladies shuddered all over and got goosebumps all over their bodies. What is this? At this moment, the young masters and young ladies who had looked relaxed just now were all confused and stared at the car in a daze. No one knew what was going on. Fuck. At this moment, the young master Wang Feng at the side couldn't help but curse. The other young masters also looked at Wang Feng at this time. Seeing the surprise on his face, they immediately felt that there was a way, so they quickly asked a question. Lao Wang, do you recognize whose car this is? Wang Feng smacked his lips after hearing this, his eyes still filled with deep shock. This is even General Yi Long's. Chapter 86. Should I give it to him? What? The eyelids of everyone around were twitching wildly at once, they were extremely shocked. At this time, everyone watched the Hongqi car stop. After Tang Hao got out of the car, the back door was opened by Tang Hao, and little girls jumped out of the car one by one. Afterwards, Yi Xian and Wang Xinyao also stuck their heads out of the car, and followed the two little girls with a smile. At this time, these young masters and young ladies adjusted their breathing, looked at the people around them, and asked weakly. Should we go say hello to Mr. Yi? We? At this time, Wang Feng on the side snorted coldly. I'm afraid we are not qualified enough. Let's not disturb General Yi Long's interest. The other young masters and young ladies finally came to their senses and nodded immediately. As they were talking, the long-awaited light show finally began. The two little girls were held in Yi Xian's arms, looking at the shining beams of light on the stage, which formed patterns that kept changing with the exciting music. It was simply a feast for the eyes and ears. Wow! It's so beautiful. The two girls were in Yi Xian's arms, eating snacks and watching the light show. They looked so beautiful at this moment. Wang Xinyao, who was standing beside him, looked at Yi Xian and the two girls having fun together and also